Hello everybody and welcome back to your Alpha Live coverage of round 11 of the 2021 Club 100 Sprint Series of Championships, coming to you live from Bayford Meadows in Sittingbourne in Kent, England. My name is Howard Mitchell, alongside Andrew Mather in the comms box. Together we are Double Dash Motorsport Media, here to bring you commentary coverage of the last round of our heavyweights. And we are going into the heavyweights now after some stellar action this morning in the final round of the lightweights. If you didn't catch that, definitely head back and watch that on the Alpha Live YouTube channel once all of this is said and done. It's our last stream of Club 100 Sprints for 2021, so the anticipation of this afternoon's action tinged with a bit of sadness that once we're all done, that will be it for 2021 in the Club 100 Sprints Championship. Let's have a look at your grid though for the first of our heat races this afternoon. Kevin Coombs will start on pole with David Jarvis alongside Joel Arguelles and Adam Wright are row number 2. Row 3 is Paul Williams and Francesco Volpe. Then it's Jordan Salter and Matt Wildman on row 4. Lewis Ridd and Brad Jones to round out your top 10. Chris Alcock and Matt Griffiths are on row number 6. Row 7 is going to be Blake Temperley and Leon Duprise. And then Tom Stalker and Matthew Batter will round out your 16 karts going in this one. A little bit of time to go before they're heading out onto the circuit there. We'll probably give you a bit of a reminder of that. But yes, indeed, we are here for round 11 of the heavyweights. And if you've got a spare screen or device that you're watching your Alpha Live live stream on this afternoon, then we would recommend, humbly recommend, our comms box cam stream in the comms box over on the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. It's enhanced, it's pepped up since you would have last seen it. It's now got some timing over there as well with the driver tracker. We've got elements of the Alpha Live timing screen on there as well. So it's not just looking at our ugly mugs for two reasons. Number one, we've added timing, and number two, Darren's in the background as well. So it's not just us that you have to look at. So head on over to Double Dash Motorsport Media, if you our YouTube channel, if you would like to capture that. It probably only remains for me to actually welcome. Hello, Andrew. Hello. Welcome back. Who's just been setting up that comms box cam to go live with the new stream over there on DDMM, but he's very much alongside us here. And this is, mate, the story of lightweights this morning was the championships largely settled. Yeah. This one,
complete opposite.
Yeah, the overall headline solved. Yeah. Class 1 has been taken. Joe Holmes stamping his names into the Club 100 history books again as one of the most successful Club 100 racing drivers. Was it the 5th season on the trot that he has taken the title in some shape or form? A little bit of a mixed statement to say that, because we've changed over the years from a Premier Championship to this Class 1 heavyweights format, but nonetheless he has been champion at the highest flight, the top flight I should say, of Club 100 sprint racing for half a decade now. So that's done, the overall in Class 1. And as a reminder, we have 4 subclasses going in your heavyweights. We've got Class 1, we've got Class 2, we've got Class 3, and we've got the Super Heavyweights. So Class 1 is settled. Joe Holmes has taken that one. Amar Smith has settled 2nd place as well. In fact, so much so that he thought he'd go and make a cameo appearance this morning in the lightweights. Hope he enjoyed himself in that. It was quite a mad melee to throw himself into. And then we've got, there's a bit of a battle to be had, is there not, mate, over the 3rd place in the Class 1s with Matt Wildman and Adam Wright quite close on points coming into today. But it's Class 2, behind those 2 drivers of Wildman and Wright, where it's really interesting, because there we find our top 2 drivers in Class 2. And that is Alex Pritchard in the number 77 and Richard Allen in the number 26. And they are separated coming into today by a single point. And it's going to be a really interesting one to watch how they get on today. Dickie Allen comes into this one with a lot of momentum off the back of a very successful outing at Lydd, but this is Bayford. It's dry. You no longer need a power boat and a rudder in order to navigate yourself to the front of the field as you did back at Lydd in the torrential downpours that we had there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on today. That is the key fight coming into today, or the highest fight in the championship that you and I are looking at.
Absolutely, and yeah, I'm excited for this one in different reasons to why I was excited this morning. And we did see some championship permutation changes this morning. For example, Reese Pope wrestling second place away from Alistair Irvin in the C2 Championship. I just want to give a quick shout out to, because we are seeing the comments on the Comsbox cam, so hello to Yusuf at Milky Cereal. Says hello, lovely gentleman. Thank you very much, mate. And Marcus and Lauren Rhodes have got in contact with us as well, cheering on Tom Stalker, kart number 124, and Tom's out in this race as well. So. That'll be good. Have we done the grid? Sorry, I was up in
we did
social
the
media.
We got that one done and dusted
good.
nice and early. Might
Good.
give a quick reminder just as we're on the final rolling up lap. The other championship battle, the big one that we're looking at, is in Super Heavies, where it's between Lee Henderson and Bill Taylor. They come into today separated by 5 points, so you're looking out for the number 13, unlucky for some, but Lee Henderson will be hoping otherwise, and the number 144 of Bill Taylor. Assuming the Bill's here, I'm not sure if we've actually confirmed that Bill is here today. He's not been present at 3 rounds this championship. Now that's fine, you get 3 drop scores across a season. And so if you don't turn up to 3 rounds, then those count as your drop scores. It just means that every single round, the idea of the drop scores is that if something happens that is beyond your control, you know, if you have some kind of kart malfunction, they are rare in the Club 100 ranks, but it can happen, that's not the end of your championship bid. However, you could also choose to quote-unquote burn through those drop scores by not turning up. So by not being at 3 rounds, Bill Taylor is fine, he can have a full championship score, but every single race is going to count come what may. So if he does get struck by any reliability issues, that is going to have a bearing on his championship. Nevertheless, he comes into this one 5 points behind in the Super Heavies, and if he is here, I think he is, just haven't quite double-checked it looking through the grids yet. And that means we have very much got a battle on in your Super Heavyweights. There are also Class 3 things as well going on. Luke Phillips, I want to say, is our highest placed Class 3 driver. And I think he's quite comfortable in that position. It would take something quite extraordinary to knock him off of that. So as we're going round again, I think we've covered all of the major stories coming into this afternoon. On this one, Adam Wright, so for example, so a crucial one to look here, Adam Wright and Matt Wildman both starting on this grid. That's their battle for third in the championship immediately to go for there. So that's going to be something to bear in mind going into even this first race.
There is one other major story that I just want to cover. Having seen Dan Underhill there, who's confirmed that after his SpaceX mission this morning, Colin Nacone has been returned. He's come back to Earth. The mission has been completed. The tests were done properly, and he's now back on terra firma, ready for the start of heat number 1. There he is. Thank you very much.
Also, a service announcement. If anyone wants some of Bailey Morgan's birthday cake, there's probably some left.
Yes.
It's huge, brilliant cake. I now can't move, but it's brilliant cake, and thank you very much that his family brought that along today. Kevin Coombs is on pole for this one. David Jarvis alongside Joel Arguelles and Adam Wright, your second row. Paul Williams and Francesco Volpi round out your top 3 rows. We are good for the go here at Bayford Meadows. Heat number 1. It's a fairly even start from both sides of the grid as they head into turn 1. Arguelles goes round though, immediately trying to make progress, and he's shunted into by someone as well there, which actually helped spun him back round. Yeah, somebody else.
Blake Templey span at the back.
Was it Templey who spun off, trying to avoid all of that? So, not a great start there. That was Arguelles trying to go for the early advantage there. But I'm just trying to work out who it is who's come out to the front here. It is the 63. So it is our pole sitter of Kevin Coombs, and it is David Jarvis who has come to the. Okay, he's held on to his second place as well. So everyone who was ahead of Arguelles there has stayed in position as they work their way through. Paul Williams going defensive here through the final set to Adam Wright, not able to make his way past as they come around to finish their first lap of this Bayford Meadows circuit. It is Kevin Coombs in the lead, David Jarvis, then Volpe, Williams and Wright your top 5. Blake Templey confirmed as falling to the back, unfortunately. That was just wrong place, wrong time, I think, for him there. But Paul Williams has been got by now. Adam Wright and Lewis Ridd both through, as has gone Chris Alcock, and now Matt Wildman. It's a costly few corners for Paul Williams. It was just once somebody prized open the door, so many were tucked up behind that 4 have gone through on him. So unfortunately for Paul Williams, I think that puts him down from 4th place at the start of the lap to 8th place now, but he's staying with them. and he's got a lot of experience as Paul Williams, so we'll see how he gets on. Here's Lewis Ridd, though, down the inside of Adam Wright into the long left-hander here at turn 8. Been seeing a lot of moves there today. There's a surprising amount of grip on the inside there. These drivers, of course, not having to deal with the same conditions that our lightweights did this morning, where it was damp to start off the circuit. I mean, you can see the sort of darker patches on the very outside of some of these corners where the karts hardly ever go, but by and large we are talking a dry track and no rain anticipated in this afternoon's running. Lewis Ridd confirmed up to 4th place now. There is the battle for the lead going through your shot. That was Kevin Coombs and Francesco Volpe. There is Adam Wright being pressured by Chris Alcock, who of course moved to heavyweights partway through the season, so isn't, you know, battling for stuff in the championship per se, but is very much a potential disruptor, as we like to say. As here's the move for the lead, Volpe to the head of the field, just had a great drive there off of turn number 7 and had the job done by the turn in for 8. So now it is Francesco Volpe ahead of Kevin Coombs, and I think that's a change for 3rd as well, because Jarvis has been passed. Lewis Ridd ahead of David Jarvis now, so the Class 1 runners, those denoted by their yellow number plates in these heavyweight ranks, moving to the forward. Here is a key battle in terms of the championship. Adam Wright versus Matt Wildman at this moment in time over 5th place in this heat, but this is going to run and run all afternoon. So you're looking for the number 3 versus the 70. There they are. As I say, Chris Alcock in the 160 there, looking to pounce. He's not got a dog in this fight from a championship perspective, as there is Lewis Ridd going down the inside of Kevin Coombs for 2nd place in the 2nd hairpin and makes that move stick. So it's another good move there, and that is a bad moment there for Adam Wright. You could see him shaking his head. He went wide there. Got to be careful. Don't want to get too many track limit warnings around here at Bayford Meadows. There's 3 critical parts of the lap where they're looking at the track limits, and that was one of them. The other one is the corner you're seeing them go through now. They don't want to see them running it out beyond the white line on the exit. Got to be careful through this last chicane not to collect the tyres, and there is a penalty for Adam Wright for track limits, and I'm unsurprised to see it, to be honest. This is the other place where they're being hot on track limits, out of turn number 1, and you know what, Adam Wright was right on the limit there, but that's okay. That's okay, being right on the limit, as he fires a move down the inside of David Jarvis. But track limit warnings off the top of my head would generally be a 2-place deduction at the end of the race, so he's now trying to stay 2 places ahead of Matt Wildman, because he's got to take the fight today. Adam Wright is the one behind in the championship, as Chris Alcock does him a favour and goes down the inside of Matt Wildman whilst I'm talking about that. So the 160 ahead of the 17, and Alcock immediately goes for the move on David Jarvis, and Jarvis might be feeling a bit mugged here because they're all ganging up on him a little bit there, but that is Chris Alcock by on David Jarvis, and up there now into 5th place, I want to say. We'll see that confirmed as they come through to finish this, the 5th lap of the race. New fastest lap from Lewis Ridd. The gap is down to 7/10 of a second as Adam Wright goes for it on Kevin Coombs, and it was a robust move, but I think that was fair enough from my perspective. Brad Jones has picked up an advantage by contact bump and pass penalty, which means that he got by making contact basically and pushing a driver out of the way, so that'll be 4 places deducted from wherever he finishes in the race. All penalties in Club 100 sprint racing are penalty positions, they're not time based. But we're going to need to keep an eye on the lead gap here as well, because Lewis Ridd is definitely closing that down. He just set the fastest lap of the race, 55.1, which is, for those of you watching the light race this morning, is well into the dry weather times now. This is a fully dry circuit, make no mistake about that. Adam Wright then up into 3rd place now. There it is, there's the lead gap, and then here comes Adam Wright in 3rd, ahead of Chris Alcock. Then it's Kevin Coombs, Matt Wildman and David Jarvis in this quite closely packed top 7. Then Paul Williams comes, he's having a bit of a quiet one, 2 seconds further back and 2 seconds ahead of Matt Griffiths, who's leading a battle with Matt Batter and Tom Stalker. Jordan Salter down there as well, so good drive-by way so far from Matt Griffiths to be the highest place of our Class 3 drivers. Just as a reminder, your Class 1 runners have the yellow number plates, your Class 2s and 3s have blue number plates, and then your super heavyweights have the green number plates, slightly different to the red and black backed number plates that we saw this morning in lightweights. Adam Wright here in 3rd place. Chris Alcock staying on terms with him. Then this is the battle for the lead. right here. And Volpe's had a fairly quiet few laps of leading this one, but with a 54.9, Lewis Ridd is not messing about here. We are on to the last lap. The gap is 0.4 of a second, but such is the rate of knots that Ridd is pulling in the leader here. How is this going to play out in the last few corners? There is the potential. We saw some great defensive driving this morning in the lightweights. It is a circuit where you can put the defense on and make it stick. This is a challenge here for Francesco. Has a look over the shoulder, constantly trying to work out where Ridd is. Is Ridd going to be able to fire one down the inside? No. Volpe goes tight to the inside through 8, and now really there's not a conventional overtaking opportunity right up until the last chicane, and this is something that I think we're going to see throughout this afternoon's running in round 11 of the heavyweights for 2021. But going round now into the final chicane, there isn't the opportunity for Lewis Ridd. Francesco Volpe holds off the pressure there and takes the first win of the afternoon in heavyweights. Lewis Ridd in second, Adam Wright is in third, but crucially has a couple of places to be deducted for track limit violations. Chris Alcock in fourth, Matt Wildman is in fifth, then it's Kevin Coombs, good drive from him, holding off from pole, not defending well generally speaking, to come home in sixth. David Jarvis, the highest placed super heavyweight, in seventh. There's Paul Williams, Matt Batter, Jordan Salter, Matt Batter, the highest place of class 3 runners in the end. There was Jordan Salter, Matt Griffiths, Tom Stalker, Leon Dupreez, Blake Templey, Joel Arguelles, and Brad Jones. Those latter drivers definitely recovering from that initial first lap contretemps. Heat 2 is coming up for you next here at Bayford Meadows.
All set to go for heat number 2 then. Richard Masterson will be on pole position. Bill Taylor going for super heavyweight glory alongside him on the front row. Dave Pethers and Steve Lindley on row 2. Simon Kavanagh and Ben Bennyworth form up on the third row of the grid. Alex Pritchard is going for T2 honours. He starts his day on the fourth row of the grid alongside Andrew Cherry, Luke Pullen and Miguel Hall on row 5. Jonathan Elliott and Christian Hoos on row number 6. Stephen Hullock and Jaden Cadigan on row 7. Lawrence Chair and Daniel Hollinshed is on row number 8. Apologies folks, comms box cam is done for the day. We've run out of data here at DDMM. It's just one of them. We'll have that fixed for next week, but means that you can be fully focused now on the Alpha live stream. If you're new around here, it's great to have you along. If you can press that subscribe button, that'd be absolutely fantastic for you all and for us here at the comms box here at Bayford Meadows. But heat 2, drivers out on circuit now doing their free practice laps. So yeah, very good first result from Francesco Volpe. He was very quick yesterday in the first race of the day in the endurance, so continuing that form into the sprints here today. Weather conditions pretty good for racing in November. The track is now dry, bit of a breeze across it. Still quite chilly though, but none of the wet, damp conditions that we saw this morning for the lightweights. So drivers just completing their laps here, and then they'll form up that grid, which is to say Richard Masterson on pole position, Bill Taylor P2 on the grid, which is a tricky spot to start from here at Bayford Meadows. If you weren't with us this morning, or this is the first time you've watched some racing round at Bayford Meadows, turn 1 is a very, very fast. It's quite a short run from start finish to turn 1. But you're kind of still accelerating as you go through turn 1, so if you're on the outside you can lose a couple of positions very easily on the first lap, and then you keep going to the right all the way to turn 4. So you will see the drivers on the opposite side of the grid to pole position trying to sweep across. There's a driver that just passing through shot that I want to give a mention to, Howard. Steve Lindley, very strong yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think he could be on for a good day here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been putting in some strong drives recently, and yeah, you and I yesterday were noting he did have a strong showing in the endurances yesterday. We were out there for the final round of the Endurance Championships, and the final rounds of the Endurance, the final rounds of the Sprint 60 Championship as well as of course what we've got today. This is the final race weekend of the Club 100 portfolio of championships, although there's some other stuff coming next weekend. We'll get on to that, I'm sure, but right now we're ready for the away in heat number 2. Richard Masterson in the number 29 immediately moves across to deter any moves into turn number 1, but it's Dave Pethers who's on the attack into turn 1, and not for the first time today we've seen the 3rd place on the grid get up into 2nd place, and that looked like a costly moment there for Bill Taylor, who of course is in his, and there's some so clearly Steve Lindley isn't too happy about something here going on, and Simon Kavanagh ahead of him, I think it is. But yeah, that was an interesting start there, but it's still Richard Masterson who's in the lead, as behind them that's the number 31 of Jonathan Elliott, who's had a lightning start there, and I think he's challenged for 3rd place and has got it. But meanwhile at the front, Dave Pethers has found a way by on Richard Masterson to take the lead off of him, and it is indeed Jonathan Elliott who's gone up to 3rd place. But at the front of the field, Dave Pethers comes round to finish lap number 1 at the head of the field. Yeah,
Pethers with a really nice overtake in and through the long left-hander off the back straight. Use that inside line. Bit of knowledge knowing that there's some grip there. Some of the nuances of this Bayford Meadows circuit. Richard Masterson still there. Oh, it's all getting very rough towards the back here. Steve Lindley is involved. Alex Pritchard's in there as well. Pritchard needs a nice solid start here in this battle between him and Richard Allen, going for 5th place in the championship and also the C2 honours, the top C2 driver. Just a single C1 runner in this race. You can see Miguel Hall denoted by the yellow number board.
Ooh, getting quite close to the tyres in that one as well. Through that fast right-hand, excuse me, at turn 10. Costing that there for Simon Kavanagh and Steve Lindley. They both lost a fair few positions on that last lap, going side by side here into turns 2, 3 and 4. We cut back ahead actually to Miguel Hall challenging, as that is the 133 of Lawrence Cheer going for a move on Luke Pullen, I believe, there. But good battles happening throughout the field. That's a bit wide at track limits for Bill Taylor. He doesn't want to do that. We saw the 2-place deduction applied to Adam Wright in the last race, and if Bill's going to take the fight in the super heavyweights to Lee Henderson, then he definitely needs to stay away from acquiring penalties throughout today. New fastest lap of the race from Dave Pethers, although it's immediately beaten. A lot of drivers improving as they get used to the conditions here and get their eye in on these Club 100 karts for one last round. That is a move from Lawrence Cheer, I believe, again on Luke Pullen. And they're still battling as they arrive on the scene at turns 2, 3 and 4. And Andrew Cherry in the number 23. Green number plated super heavyweight driver does not need a second invitation to take advantage of that. Neither does Daniel Hollinshead, who tries to find a way through. Actually, he does need a second invitation because he's not able to make that move stick. But he's going to try through turn 7 and still can't get by on Ben Bennyworth, who's there in the number 37 kart. Another super heavyweight driver there. Jonathan Elliott, got to keep an eye on him in this one. Lightning start up the field, now in 3rd place and has the fastest lap of the race, putting the pressure on Richard Masterson. We're looking at the likes of Cheer, Cherry and Bennyworth battling away.
Track limit warning for Bill Taylor. Just a quick reminder, this corner here, turn number 1. Track limits are being watched there. Also onto the back straight towards the final chicane. Could be one of those 3 that Bill Taylor's just wandered over. All 4 wheels over the white line. It's been called into race control. Not a penalty though at this stage. As it walked down the inside there on Andrew Cherry. That was an attempt from the number 127 of Daniel Hollinshead. Jaden Cadigan there in number 45, yellow and white helmet. Had a good run last time out 2 weeks ago at Lyd, if my memory serves me correctly. C3 runner looking to move through the order. All the C3s as novices starts the heats from the back of the field. Will have opportunities to race their way up through the order. Change for 5th place. Miguel Hall has got past Bill Taylor. Now that's potentially important in the story in super heavyweights. Let's go a quick look at Jonathan Elliott and Alex Pritchard. Pritchard's trying to find a way through. 4th place would be a decent start to the day. Can do something from there. 2 more chances to race, of course, across the course of the afternoon. Jonathan Elliott's having a little look down towards the radiator and the choke, maybe just checking that everything's okay. Seems happy enough now. Carries on his way.
Alex Pritchard to catch up a little bit more onto the back of him, though. It's the driver in the number 77, one of the drivers that we're talking about in that key battle in Class 2. So you can see a rival ahead of him looking down anxiously at their car. He's going to go for a move, and indeed he does go for a move, but Jonathan Elliott's going to very robustly close the door, and Pritchard is not all that happy there. I think he felt a bit squeezed over to the grass on the run down to turn number 2. Miguel Hall is looking to pound. Jonathan Elliott's still not happy with his kart. Again, looks down at the engine. Miguel Hall. Yeah, sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, Miguel Hall looking for a move by. Steve Lindley's coming into it as well. Pritchard defends. Retakes the position. In fact, was that Lindley? That was Lindley getting past Bill Taylor.
It was indeed, yes.
So yeah, so Lindley up to 6th place now.
Yep, absolutely. And again, Bill Taylor, a driver who needs to take the fight to Lee Henderson if he's going to take the super heavyweight title this afternoon. Richard Masterson has a bit of a look behind him going, what's going on behind me? I thought I had a Jonathan Elliott bearing down on me. You did. But clearly Elliott's not too happy about this car as we're on to the last lap. Dave Pethers leads this one by 2.8 seconds. Richard Masterson is fairly secure in 2nd place, but Miguel Hall having a very earnest look there down the inside of Alex Pritchard for 4th place on this last lap. Still Jonathan Elliott, conscious of some kind of kart woes here, is defending as much as he can. Miguel Hall is going to try a repeat performance from last lap, and this time surely he's going to make the move stick on Alex Pritchard. Yes, he is. Meanwhile, Lindley's having to go defensive against Bill Taylor. Again, Jonathan Elliott has a problem here with his engine. Presumably it's cutting out on him as they go through turn number 8 and then into 9. And now Alex Pritchard is back on the attack against Miguel Hall. They're going to be side by side through these high-speed corners here. This is daring stuff from Alex Pritchard, but he knows he's got to take the fight here today to take home Class 2 honours into the final chicane. Dave Pethers takes the win. Richard Masterson in 2nd. Somehow Jonathan Elliott will hold on for 3rd. It's going to be Alex Pritchard. What a daring move in the dying moments of that race, who finishes ahead of Bill Taylor, who finishes 3/100ths ahead of Miguel Hall there. Then it was Steve Lindley, Simon Kavanagh, Luke Pullen and Lawrence Cheer round out your top 10, with Cheer being your highest placed Class 3 runner. Daniel Hollinshead was in 11th. Then it was Andrew Cherry, Jaden Cadigan, Christian Hughes, and then Stephen Hullock and Ben Bennyworth we expect to conclude that. In fact, Ben Bennyworth I think has had to retire from this one. So dramatic way to finish there on heat number 2. Next up here we're going to go straight into heat number 3 for our heavyweights and super heavyweights here at Bayford Meadows. Take you through the grid then for this 3rd heat of the heavyweights round 11. Mike Bodner will start this one on pole with Tim Williams alongside Kieran Chigsey, and Jason Bear make up row number 2 with Richard Newton and Paul Jameson on row number 3. Row 4 will be Tim Hill and Mikey Nichols. There'll be George Boothby and Harry Melvin to round out the top 10. Lee Henderson and Benjamin Wotton are on row 6, and then it's Bradley Porter and Marcus Naris ahead of Sam Bensley to round out the 15 karts taking part in this 3rd heat. Just a reminder, because I think we went straight into our heat 1 stuff, and then the discussions about the championship. We've got the 12 heats for you, and then that can be thought each driver will take part in 3 races out of those 12. So if you're tuning in to support a particular driver and you're going, I haven't heard their name on that grid, don't worry, they'll be in one of the other heats. And so you can think of these 12 heats as 3 rotations of 4 effectively. So if you took part in heat number 1, for example, the earliest next race you could take part in would be heat number 5, because that would be the first race of the second rotation, if you like. So by the end of heat number 4, every driver will have taken part in 1 race, which will also mean that they no longer get these warm-up laps that they've got now. That's why they're circulating not in formation order. This is a few warm-up laps to give them a chance to get themselves up to speed. They won't get that going into subsequent rotations though, so if you raced in this heat, for example, heat number 3, and your next heat was heat 6, which is the second race of that second rotation of races, you're going to go straight into rolling up laps in grid formation. At that point, you do not get your warming up laps. At the end of the 12 heats, the points that the drivers have accrued do count in the championship, but also are totted up to determine their position on the grid for the finals. There are going to be your finals races, final C, B and A. There are promotion opportunities for those who have had maybe a bad time of it in the heats. And the last thing to mention is probably in terms of the grids for the heats, it is a randomised grid position across your 3 races, such that every driver ends up having the same average grid starting position across their heats, which generally in practice means, well, it will in practice mean that you have one position on the grid that is extremely good towards the front, one that's sort of in the middle of the pack, and then one towards the back, so you have the same average all the way through.
Thank you very much. Interesting race this for Lee Henderson. This is his one from the back. He starts P11 ahead of all the novices, all 4 of them. Might need your help here on this one, mate, to confirm what Bill Taylor was classified with in that last race. For Lee, this is his damage limitation job. But I want to say that Bill was, what was it, about 7th place in the end on that last one?
Yeah.
If Lee could equal that, that would be a really good start for him in the context of this battle. We've been talking a lot about cake today. There's several ways of cutting the cake, and that is the same with championship points in here, the final round. There's the way of looking at it in terms of with drops, we often say, or the way that Alpha Timing shows it, and that would show you that there's currently a 15-point gap between Henderson and Taylor. There's another way that I like to look at it, Howard, and that's kind of using the term of the weakest link and how much points we have banked in the accounts. And at the moment, because Lee Henderson's been around for pretty much all the rounds, he's got a few more points already banked. Yeah, you know, he could retire from every single race, and he would still, his score would keep growing because his scores that are currently drops would start coming into it. I'm going to shut up now because there's a race about to begin.
Bill Taylor was 4th in his first heat, just to confirm that for your score sheet. Mike Bodner leads them away for heat number 3 in the number 44. Tim Williams is on the outside trying to make hay whilst he can, but Kieran Chiggsy is looking to make progress from 3rd on the grid. A few drivers going wide, but looking a little bit cleaner than other races we've seen. And as I say that, I was far too early in saying that. We'll just confirm which driver that is who's gone off there. But as the main pack roll through hairpin number 1, you can see here Richard Newton trying to get by on Kieran Chiggsy. I want to say that they've got a bit of a battle going on within super heavyweights today as well. They're quite close in the standings, but it is the 44 of Mike Bodner who's been able to hold on to the top spot so far. Tim Williams doing well. Not everyone starting 2nd on the grid has been able to retain that position. Quite a difficult, you know, the first 3 corners here at Bayford Meadows are right-handed, so it's rather difficult if you're on the outside to defend unless you can get yourself across into the inside. As they come around to finish this first lap, though, it is Mike Bodner in the lead for now, but look at the pressure being applied to him early doors here by Tim Williams. Kieran Chiggsy still in 3rd place. Jason Bair managed to get by Richard Newton in the latter part of last lap, and so is up into 4th. And Newton rounds out your top 5. Good start from Sam Bensley as well, straight to the front of the Class 3 runners. It was Paul Jameson who was your driver who went off at turn number 2, unfortunately, as Tim Hill attacks Jason Bair round the outside of hairpin 1, and he's going to get the job done, you know, because he'll have the inside for the next corner. Nice little move that by Tim Hill there in the number 12, experienced driver.
And already a good weekend for Tim Hill.
Yep.
As part of the, or is part of the speed screen team with Richard Allen, which took the championship yesterday in the Clubman class for the Endurance Championship. And I have to say, we've been watching them whilst they've been coming flying by us on the circuit.
Yes.
They have been brilliant,
yeah,
especially in the run-in to the end of the endurance season. So as I say, for Tim, It's already been a strong one at the moment. At the end of lap 2, he sits in 4th place, battle for the lead here. Williams up the inside of Bodner. Surely he's going to get that move done. Yeah, into turn 3. Nicely done by Tim Hill. Points the finger to say, come on, let's work together. Which is also the, not direct, but signal to another driver. It's like, please don't re-lunge me into the next corner. Let's let me lead for a bit.
If re-lunge is not in the Oxford English Dictionary, I think now we start the petition. There we go. Tim Williams to the front then, ahead of Mike Bodner. Kieran Chigsey is defending against Tim Hill behind them, though. How's that one going? We'll just catch up. You know what? Mike Bodner, he's got a very different line through turn number 9, through turn number 10, sorry. Or he's not in the mood to cooperate. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to find out. It is still Chigsey ahead. In fact, the 64 of Mikey Nichols has had a stellar lap there, getting up to 4th place. That all happened off camera. So Mikey Nichols it is, up to 4th place. He's got by on Tim Hill. Jason Bear now defending against Harry Melvin, who's got into that position by way of getting past Richard Newton on the previous lap. So a fair few changes for position on that last run round this Bayford Meadows circuit. 1.2 kilometres located on the edge of Sittingbourne, southeast of England. One of 3 tracks in Kent that we visit on this Club 100 calendar. Kieran Chigsey feeling the need to go defensive here against the charging Mikey Nichols. Manages to hold him off for now. As further down the order, Lee Henderson there trying to put a move on Samuel Bensley. I can see. JV goes for a Sunday afternoon stroll there as Tim Williams comes round to finish lap number 4. And again, Chigsey still driving the widest kart in Kent. But this time, no, they found a way by. That is Mikey Nichols ducking underneath. And Tim Hill right with him as well has got the job done. And actually, Chigsey's got to be careful because Jason Bear wants a piece of the action, but Chigsey will have the inside line. And that's going to allow Harry Melvin to capitalise and get by on Jason Bear as well. And Richard Newton there in the red race suit at the back of this as well is trying to get involved in the number 32. And Chigsey goes further back. Oh gosh, it's a horrible lap for Chigsey. His momentum has just been thoroughly upset by all the moves. And that's going to allow Newton through. And look at the number 25 of Jason Bear. Good opportunistic move there, swooping in on the inside. That was nicely done. And now Lee Henderson is having a go at Kieran Chigsey. That's a tough lap. It's tough for him to gather up the momentum again. And that's Samuel Bensley as well in the 108 challenging as well. Kieran Chigsey has managed to stop he's managed to stem the bleed, as it were. Oh no, he hasn't, because that is a move down. Oh no, sorry, that's on Lee Henderson there that Samuel Bensley has gone. This isn't quite what Lee Henderson needed to do, Andrew. You know, you're right, this is his lowest grid position.
Yep.
So it's not panic stations as Samuel Bensley puts in a nice move on Kieran Chigsey, but it goes round.
And that'll help.
And that will help. That is a costly moment for Samuel Bensley. He's frustrated at that one. There's your race. There is Mikey Nichols, excuse me, in 3rd place, not your race leader. Because 3.8 seconds up the road is Tim Williams and Mike Bodner, who are still very close together, by the way. Doing a good dress rehearsal for a B final here are our top 2. Here they are. Spread out, get yourself a gap at the front and fight at the end. But Mikey Nichols there. He's going to run out of time to reel in this gap, one would have thought, but really good, strong showing. And currently the fastest driver on the circuit, a 55.2, is his best time at the moment. Pulling away from Tim Hill and Harry Melvin. Here they are battling over 4th place. Yeah, it's a real shame that this race has got away from Chigsey as Tim Hill trying to fight there with Harry Melvin. Harry Melvin's going to wrestle that position away from Sir Timothy. Yeah, good strong move there from Harry Melvin. So when we're looking at the points in Super Heavyweight and the way that the drop scores are all working, essentially every position in this race that Lee Henderson can gain equals 1 point. And we've already seen this weekend some titles go down to countback, so every point does count. The one I'm referring to is Dan Brewer yesterday taking the Heavyweight Sprint 60 title on countback on race victories. This is Anwar Barul Smith, so it can happen. We're on the last lap though. Tim Williams looking pretty good here. And another driver that it feels to me, Howard, in this latter part of the season, as we've been at the wet weather of Lydd, Wilton Mill a few weeks before, has really come on song in the last
few recent weeks as we've been streaming here in Alpha Live.
Yeah, and this will be his first heat win at least of this season, but I'm minded to say that it's actually his first heat win outright. Don't quote me on that one, but it's definitely going to be the first one of his 2021 season, so this is going to be fantastic stuff for Tim if he can close this one out. Mike Bodner, though, has driven a good one. Mikey Nichols, he might have hoped that this race went on a few more laps because his pace is definitely going to be one to watch. Tim Williams it is, though, who comes out of the chicane to take the win in heat number 3 for round 11. Mike Bodner in second, Mikey Nichols finishes third. Then it's Harry Melvin who managed to hold off Tim Hill there for fourth. Jason Baer in sixth. Then it's Richard Newton ahead of Lee Henderson in 8th, Bradley Porter in 9th, 10th for Kieran Chigsey. Marcus Narris gets by on Samuel Bensley on the last lap for 11th. Then it's Benjamin Wotton and Paul Jameson. I'm afraid he's a long way up down the order after that incident in turn 2 on the first lap. That was heat number 3. Coming up next is the last of the heats in this first rotation for our heavyweights and super heavyweights, heat number 4. Here's your grid then for heat number 4 for heavyweights and super heavyweights. Richard Lavender will start this one on pole with Darrell Lowe alongside. It'll be Richard Allen opening up his tally for round 11 with Tom Fuller alongside on row number 2. Anthony Ridd and Vinod Hirani are your third row of the grid. Joe Holmes, our champion for another year here in heavyweights for Club 100, will start on row 4 with... Is that right? Is Anwar in both classes today? Steve Bosley and Bradley Shears. Why not indeed? Anwar Brulsmith alongside. Steve Bosley and Bradley Shears are on row 5 to round out the top 10. There's David Wilson and Luke Phillips. Luke being the, I'm pretty sure, mathematically your class 3 champion for this year. Max Jameson and Andrew Hicks rounds out the 14 kart grid. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Karts 1 and 2 confirmed as retaining kart numbers 1 and 2. Going into next season, starting just casually on the fourth row of the grid. That's the kind of row on a grid where if you're a driver who's maybe got, you know, you've got a goal coming into your heats. You've got a bit of an agenda. It's like, I've got to get on up the grid. This is my lowly grid starting position. Oh goodness me, it's them on row number 4. Is that kind of a grid? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Both obviously taking their mid grid slot.
We like talking about a start here at Bayford Meadows. Big opportunity this for Richard Allen. You know, grid 3 is a nice spot to be in when you're on your front of the grid start.
Yep.
He'll be looking to get at least a second place and ahead of Darrell Lowe, using that inside line. But I wouldn't put it past him to be going for the lead, especially down into that first big braking zone of turn 3.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one, and yeah, look for that move. It wouldn't be the first time that we've seen third place on the grid going for the move on the anti-pole side of the grid.
Just to confirm, mate, that was P4 for Alex Pritchard in his first heat. It was heat number 2.
Check that one for you, sir. Pretty sure you're correct.
Drivers just completing their warm-up laps.
It was third place,
okay,
because of some penalties, I think. Yeah, so it's Alex Pritchard in third. Bill Taylor it was who was in fourth in that heat.
Okay, well, that does improve things ever so slightly for Alex Pritchard.
Going to go for a good cone throw here.
Do a cone flip down. He can't hear us.
No, but did you see he was good at throwing the cone into the middle of the road for the first race.
Well, he's got that out to a T.
He's got that skill. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, this one. A lot of big names in this one. There is Amor. It is, yes. So Amor's just out for, I thought he was guest starring.
That well-known lightweights driver.
Well, no, yeah. That, yes. Success in the lightweight. Well, it was a difficult lightweight A final to make progress in for Anwar this morning. I wonder how he enjoyed his outing in lightweights. But yeah, as you say, well-known lightweight driver Anwar Brulsmith taking to the track once again. That is Max Jameson, who just went through in the 48. Oh, it's a graceful placing of the cone, actually. Oh, nice thumb. as it hits the ground as well.
That was a good noise.
That was good cone placement there. You see, folks, you don't want to hit a cone when it's been so deftly put in place.
You've said it now. He's going on. He's going on another space
going back into orbit. Right, Richard Lavender is on pole in the 162. Alongside is Darrell Lowe in the 115. Eyes on the lights, and away we go for heat number 4. And immediately Richard Allen does as predicted and goes from grid 3 straight up into second place there. Anthony Ridd as well is going to battle away with Darrell Lowe as they head towards turn number 2. It's still the pole sitter Richard Lavender out in front, but he's under pressure here from Richard Allen, who one would presume is going to not waste his time going for the move. Joe Holmes has sprung up the order already into 4th place as they work their way through the hairpins. And Marlborough Smith not able to have the same sort of start as Holmes from the same row of the grid. Still towards the back. Oh yeah, good point. We'll look to confirm who that was, as there's a contact warning for Luke Phillips.
May have been David Wilson who went round there. It was someone from the novice ranks. But here are Lavender and Allen. Is Allen going to go down the inside? To the outsider, a move into that chicane looks quite easy. It's not like it's a stamp on the brakes.
Yeah.
It should be down the inside. As Richard Allen does go down the inside on Richard Lavender. The thing is, though, with that chicane, it's uphill.
Yes.
So you can brake quite late as just on a normal line. So there's not much braking zone distance for you to get up alongside and get a move done cleanly, which is why often, you know, a move that we see into the chicane has to be a superbly executed one.
Yes.
And Richard Allen just took the option there, get the good run out of the chicane, get him into turn 1, and was given him the lead.
Yeah, and as Joe Holmes puts a move here on Anthony Ridd, the one going for a move on the 68, and he's going to go for a double overtake as well on Richard Lavender, and Lavender's going to be out wide. He's going to find very little grip there, and Anthony Ridd's going to go through as well. The other thing about this is how blind it is at driver's eye view.
Yes.
Bear in mind, there's tyres on the first apex, tyres in the background. You're looking at an amazing landscape of tyres in the foreground with tyres behind. It's difficult to spot your turn in, and everything about that corner is very blind, so it's difficult to make the move, and we have seen some, but it's so easy for it to end in tears. Richard Allen in first, then Joe Holmes up to second place, then it's Anthony Ridd who got by on Darrell Lowe as well. Richard Lavender being taken by Marlborough Smith for 5th there, though, into turn number 3. The number 2 moves up past the 162 now, as Steve Bosley's trying to get involved as well, but can't quite find a way through there in hairpin 1. There's Joe Holmes in second place. Anthony Ridd staying with him for now. It's going to be interesting to see if Joe Holmes can make any progress onto the back of Richard Allen, who is very much on a mission today. And as I say, Allen comes into this one with a lot of momentum off the back of Lid. It may be aquaplaning momentum, but it was momentum nonetheless that you could get at Lid a couple of weeks ago. On to lap number 4, new fastest lap of the race from Joe Holmes. Here's Marlborough Smith looking to the inside of Darrell Lowe. He's going to make that one stick. And Lowe running a little bit wide, trying to hold on to that one, but in the end he's going to have to concede the place. Track limit warnings coming in from Bradley Shears, Max Jameson. These drivers have got to be careful. We saw with Adam Wright in the first heat of this heavyweight round that too many track limit violations are going to get you with the deducted positions come the end of the race. Tom Fuller by Luke Phillips in the last lap as well. As the 153 moves at the order.
The C2 situation, Allen versus Pritchard. If this result was to stay this way, the lead would swap hands but still be 1 point. It would be Allen leading by 1 point ahead of Pritchard. That's why I think he's so keen to just keep an eye on where Joe Holmes is, because this would be a big 2 point swing if he can bring this one home. And of course, if Holmes was able to catch and overtake, it would tie them up. It would tie Alex Pritchard and Richard Allen on, as it would stand, 1,283 points each.
Nice. Liking how close this is for the Class 2 title in the heavyweights. And Marlborough Smith trying a move. No, not quite close enough to try that yet. But Marlborough Smith is coming up onto the back of Anthony Ridd. Further back. Still a good battle going on. Sure, Bosley and Shears. A bit of a battle in the background. They swoop through turn number 10 through turn number 11, then through this chicane at 12 to bring them back onto a new lap of the circuit. Circuit that's got to be feeling very different to Anwar Burrell-Smith to the one that he was experiencing first thing this morning. Significantly dried out, and he's got the move on Anthony Ridd on there into 2, and he's got the job done. So the number 2 moving up past the 68 in the background of your shots, as we're looking primarily at this fight between Richard Allen and Joe Holmes to lead the race. Holmes is going to go for it. He's arrived on the scene, goes for it to hairpin 2, and Richard Allen's going to fight back through the left-hander of 7 onto the back straight. Joe Holmes, unusually perhaps, doesn't go for the switchback, is in on the outside now for turn number 8. Going to be difficult to make that one work, and one would have thought that Richard Allen will be able to hold on now for the remainder of this lap, unless Holmes can tuck underneath and find a way through at the chicane.
Good stuff there from Richard Allen, didn't panic. Saw the move coming, knew what to do, knew there'd be an opportunity to switch back and retake the lead, and that's exactly what he did. 2 minutes to go. So there'll be 2 or 3 laps. A switchback attempt by Joe Holmes. Allen leaves space. There's a bit of a shake of the head there. But they both carry on now. What this will be doing is encouraging Anwar Burrell-Smith back into the play. And it is. 55-5 for both of them as Holmes is looking down the inside again. Has he got the move done? Yeah, I think he's going to get that this time. If he can, no, he's not. Richard Allen retakes it. But there's Anwar Burrell-Smith now, who was 4/10 quicker last time around, and he's right in the mix now. Anthony Ridd is there as well. Where's Darrell Lowe in 5th place, a little bit further back. He's not completely out of this as well. There's going to be at least one more lap, Howard.
There is. It's going to be an interesting one, this. At the moment, it's a 4-horse race for the leader, this one. I really thought, because Richard Allen clobbered the curb at 3, and I really thought that was going to, well, it was compromising him down towards 4, but he was able to defend hard against Joe Holmes. Here we go then, on to what will be shown as the last lap. Yes, indeed, 4 karts in with the win here. Richard Allen not wide on the entry this time, goes super defensive. Joe Holmes looks to tuck underneath, but Allen is going to shut the door on that one. And Burrell-Smith is trying around the outside of Joe Holmes here. Anthony Ridd trying in on the inside as well. It's going to be 2 abreast coming out of it, but somehow it stays in exactly the same order as it was. And I think that may have thrown a lifeline to Dickie Allen here for a few corners, although Joe Holmes is right back onto the hunt here. And while Burrell-Smith taking a wider entry into the second hairpin gives Anthony Ridd an opportunity. But he's lucky to get the switchback as Burrell-Smith, but I don't think it's going to work. Look how defensive over to driver's left Richard Allen is going here. He wants this result to take the lead in the Class 2 runnings on this crucial day of racing in that particular subclass of this championship. It's going to have to take something special now for Joe Holmes to take the win off of him. And in fact, is Anwar Burrell-Smith going to look? He had a little look, didn't he, into the chicane. It's going to be Richard Allen who defends beautifully to take the win in heat number 4 ahead of Joe Holmes. Anwar Burrell-Smith, he must be getting a bit tired by this point. He comes across the line in 3rd place as Anthony Ridd finishes in 4th. Darrell Lowe in 5th, 6th for Steve Bosley. Then it was Richard Lavender, Bradley Shears, Tom Fuller, Luke Phillips rounds out your top 10, and he was your highest placed Class 3 driver. Andrew Hicks, Max Jameson, Vinod Hirani, and David Wilson rounds out your 14 karts. That was a bit of a thriller, wasn't it? For heat number 4, but I can see already that the drivers are out for heat number 5, so we're going to cut straight into your next race here at Bayford Meadows. Going straight into our grid then for this one. Chris Alcott starts this one from pole with Brad Jones alongside Matt Wildman and Luke Pull in a row 2. David Jarvis and Bill Taylor a row 3. Then it's Joel Arguelles and Dave Pethers, Tim Hill and Richard Newton, Ben Beddyworth, Dan Hollinshead. And then it's Cheer, Templey, Dupreez and Naris as they go into turn number 1. No rolling up laps, so we've got to be sharp in the comms box here. Chris Alcott holds on to his pole position through turn number 1, but I think Brad Jones lost out heavily. Not the first time we've seen that from second on the grid, so it's Matt Wildman up into 2nd place, and that is something we're keeping an eye on in the bid. The battle over 3rd place in the championship overall. There's Dave Pethers going down the inside of Joel Arguelles into hairpin number 1, and we've got a spinner at the back, which is the number 79 of Blake Templey, which I want to say maybe a repeat performance of his earlier heat. Not a great day, unfortunately, so far for Blake. And that's even worse.
Stuck on the curb.
He's stuck on a curb there, but that's round from as he's trying to get it turned round again, I think. So costly moments there for Blake Templey as the rest of the field work their way through the fast final sector now.
Richard Newton was putting in a good move there in the red suit. I think he's got up to maybe 8th position. He's working his way past David Jarvis.
Richard Newton under attack here from David Jarvis indeed. as that looked to me like Newton was having to go up onto the curbing there as Tim Hill works his way through there. So Tim Hill and Jarvis battling away here through turn number 4. That's all going to get a bit tight, but somehow they all make it through without hitting the tyres. Look at this, Tim Hill under such pressure and a bit of loading from behind there as they're doing all their best impression of Noah's Ark, going 2 by 2 through the hairpins.
Ben Bennyworth's had a tough start again as well. He's there in the red and blue suit, down in 14th place. Had to retire from the first of his heats. He's now looking down the inside of Jalo Arguelles there, our BIKC Super Heavyweight champion. 5.5 minutes of this one to go. Alcock and Wildman out front. Another big race in the Super Heavyweight competition. Bill Taylor still there in 3rd place. Bill kind of just had to go for it today.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't the best race for Lee Henderson, his rival in his first heat of the day, but then again that was his lowest starting position on the grid, as that looked to me like Dave Pethers putting a move on Luke Pullen ahead. So that might be a change for 4th place there. Here's your leaders, Chris Alcott, Matt Warman. And you could just see Bill Taylor pulling onto the back straight behind them. This is this underlines the point of how, you know, Chris Alcock switched from lightweights to heavyweights midway through the season. Bit of a disruptor potentially today in some of these championship battles still to be decided. Dave Pethers confirmed ahead of Luke Pullen, so that was a change for 4th place. Tim Hill as well did get by on David Jarvis. We saw that battle going through turn 4 in the early part of the lap. Here is Walcott though turning into the hairpins. Matt Warman, he'd like the win, he'd like the points, but I think he's just biding his time at the moment, giving himself some space to breathe and have a think about where he wants to attempt to make a move here for the lead of this race. Bill Taylor, I'm sure, quite happy to sort of sit in 3rd place and see if the race comes to him at all. Having a bit of a quiet one now, being 2 seconds behind these two and 2 seconds ahead of Pethers. Going to be interesting to keep an eye on Dave Pethers' pace though, because he was lightning quick in his first heat of today.
So the interesting thing that I'm looking at the moment, Howard, Bill Taylor, 3rd place at the moment. He's not got any drop scores to play with. He's used all of them through competing 8 of the 11 rounds. Different situation to Lee Henderson, but with these kind of performances, Bill Taylor is taking chunks out of Lee Henderson's lead. Lee's in one of those weird situations that you get to at the end of the season. It's like, okay, well, I've got like my baseline score, and if I get like a 5th here or a 4th there, and I can improve it, but he's not necessarily getting the full points complement. It's not like a simple points of like a Formula 1 race win plus 25 points. He's getting like half of that, whereas Bill, because he's not been at all the rounds, he is getting the full complement in his calculation. So this is putting a bit of pressure on Lee Henderson now in his next race, because I've currently got Bill Taylor now sitting on 1,061 points. Lee Henderson, as it stands before he's taken out to the track, 1,066. It's down to 5 points. So this is going to be a very intriguing day. As down the inside, looks like it's Hollinshead on Bennyworth. Bennyworth will do the switchback. This is over 10th position.
Absolutely into turn 4, and Bennyworth's going to hold on around the outside of there, so nicely done. Hollinshead's going to have another look here down the inside. I've liked the way that Hollinshead's driven this season. I think he's had a very strong debut.
Yep.
He's one of our Class 3 runners. Not as... we saw a lot of Class 3 runners in the lightweights this morning. Slightly smaller ranks than them in the heavyweights, but still nice, healthy numbers. Great to see drivers coming along and trying their hand at Club 100 for the first time. And of course, there's much discussion of that with this being the last round. There is the 2022 calendar, provisional until the 31st of December, but it has been announced, and registration for that will be open before the end of this month. Head over to club100.co.uk to find out details about that. If you're looking at this and going, yeah, I fancy a piece of that, and why wouldn't you? Head on over there, give the office a call if you've got some questions. There's also an active Facebook community behind Club 100 as well. Plenty of ways for you to get involved.
Just looking at Matt Wildman there, you'll need to help me again, mate. What did Matt Wildman do in heat number 1? Because he's obviously still trying to hold off Adam Wright here for 3rd in the championship. Can't take 2nd away from Anwar.
He was 4th.
He was 4th. Okay, I can ask the same question for Adam Wright, how he did, as we are now on the last lap. Chris Alcock, who made the switch to heavyweights midway through the year.
He was 5th once the penalties were applied for track limit violations.
Okay, well, that was good news for Matt in that case. And this is another solid run for Matt behind Chris Alcock there. I really have to say I've been very impressed with Matt Wildman this season. I remember racing him in the Endurance 60-minute challenge last year. He's a very nice guy, very respectful racer, and seeing him do so well this year has been a pleasure. But Chris Alcock's going to come around the final couple of corners, take heat number 5. A really good run there from Chris Alcock. 2nd place and more strong points for Matt Wildman as he closes in on 3rd in the championship. Bill Taylor takes a big 3rd place overall and a huge heap of points in his super heavyweight campaign. Dave Pethers 4th, 5th for Tim Hill, 6th for Luke Pullen, David Jarvis 7th, Lawrence Chea, Richard Newton, Ben Benny with top 10. Daniel Hollinshead was top C3. Sorry, no, Chea was top C3. Hollinshead, Arguelles, Debris, Naris, Jones, and Templey. That's the 16 runners there in Heat 5. We'll take a short break as Heat 6 are heading out on circuit now. Very quick grid. Jonathan Ellington, Miguel Hall on the front row, Mikey Nichols, Luke Reid, row 2, Adam Wright and Kevin Coombs on row 3. Richard Masters and Joe Holmes go from row 4, Simon Kavanagh and Francesco Volpe on row 5, Vinod Hirani and Matthew Batter on row 6, Tom Stalker and Stephen Hullock on row 7. Jaden Cadigan completes the 15 kart field.
Well time, mate. Looks like we are good for... We'll go around again. Oh, badly timed, mate. No, what are you playing at?
Adam Wright in this race, as you say, was classified 5th in his first one. Needs to respond, I feel, to that 2nd place for Adam for Matt Wildman. So as it stands, Matt Wildman on 1,322 points, counting. Adam Wright, by comparison, 1,315, but he can improve that in this next race.
Overcast conditions here at the circuit. Thankfully, it's fairly mild for a mid-November afternoon, which means that did Joe Holmes go for a... Joe Holmes was out of position. But it means that bringing the tyres up to temperature isn't quite such a concern. It's probably the best grip conditions that we've had all weekend at this point for our heavyweights. Nevertheless, there are surface changes around this circuit. See one quite clearly there in the back of shot in the mid-sector, and it does change slightly the grip profile here. We're ready though for heat number 6. We're halfway through our heavyweight heat after this one. The 31 of Jonathan Elliott with Miguel Hall alongside. Away we go then for heat number 6. Immediately look for Mikey Nichols in the 64 going for 2nd place. Yes, he does. Adam Wright's going to go for it as well. And there is Miguel Hall getting the treatment that has been all too common for 2nd on the grid, unfortunately, today. Getting ousted out onto the curb. It is a difficult gig to be starting from 2nd, but it's been to the benefit of Adam Wright, who's immediately got himself up into 2nd place here and needs to start securing these big points finishes, because he's just seen Matt Wildman have a very decent 2nd heat in his campaign. Coming onto the back straight, still Jonathan Elliott in the lead, Adam Wright, and then it's Mikey Nichols, Lewis Ridd there, and Joe Holmes rounding out your top 5.
Quick note on Jonathan Elliott's: there was a slim but a possibility mathematically that he could have still taken the C2 title. With that win for Richard Allen in his first heat, that chance is now gone.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Elliott is purely racing now for today. His championship campaign is done, but he's started this heat very well. Nice lead there over Adam Wright. Down the inside, Richard Masterson goes Simon Kavanagh. That was a nice move for 6th place. Francesco Volpe is trying to go through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Volpe following on from that very good first heat to the day. As The 63 of Kevin Coombs as well. This time trying to work his way up the order, having started from pole in that first heat of his earlier on. Jonathan Elliott still leads them though. It's top 5 just breaking away slightly here. Elliott, Wright, Nichols, Ridd and Holmes around this fast final sector of Bayford Meadows, now fully up to speed in these dry conditions through the chicane. I do quite like that chicane. It's difficult, but it's also, I don't know, just psychologically it's like, yeah, let's take on this next lap. There's something about it. It's because you bring it to a sharp stop and sort of turn it on a dime, as it were. Joe Holmes by on Lewis Ridd in the last part of that previous lap. Also Francesco Volpe past Simon Kavanagh, and Kevin Coombs past Miguel Hall. It's a frustrating one for Hall as Holmes goes down the inside of Mikey Nichols there and takes third place. Nicely judged. Joe Holmes is just picking them off, just pecking. He's very frugally making moves here, getting himself up into third place. Already confirmed as our champion for this year. As we said, that makes it his 5th successive title at the sharp end of Club 100 sprint racing in the UK.
I mean, Joe will be recognising from the lightweights this morning, grid position for the A final around this place is huge, and to get a good grid position you've got to be clean through the heat. So, okay, you may not take, it's not about winning a heat and being 5 seconds out ahead of everybody else. You know, if you can get your seconds and your thirds, as we saw from Daz Till this morning in the lightweights, get yourself a good grid slot for the final. You can work from there, whereas throwing it down the inside, getting a penalty, making a mistake, it's not pushing yourself further down the grid. It's very, very hard to recover from there when you're in an A final, because this place is so difficult to overtake around.
Yeah, absolutely. Miguel Hall back past Kevin Coombs recently. Matthew Batter as well getting by Vidon Harani. That's over 11th place. So a few battles going on throughout this field. Still Jonathan Elliott leads though. 0.3 of a second ahead of Adam Wright, who's coming under increasing pressure here from Joe Holmes. If you're Adam Wright, you want all the points you can get. You don't want to be giving points away, even if it's to somebody with whom you're no longer really fighting in the championship. Very consistent driver is Adam Wright. He's been featuring, I mean, he's got that number 3 in his car for a reason. He's always there or thereabouts in the championship. As Joe Holmes fires one down the inside nonetheless of hairpin number 2. And demotes Adam Wright down to third place. And it's all denying Adam a few more points in his battle against Matt Wildman for third in the championship.
So as things stand, it would be 5 points the difference between Wildman and Wright after the second rotation of heats.
Which I want to say replicates the situation they came into today.
Yep.
In other words, it's still a bit of a stalemate. But there's the change for second place confirmed. Fastest lap of the race from Joe Holmes, a 54.9. Now starting to apply pressure to Jonathan Elliott. Jonathan Elliott himself, former champion in heavyweights under the old format, I want to say, when we had the invitational classes above. And there's Joe Holmes looking for a move, but that's going to open the door for Adam Wright, I think. Wright sensed the opportunity there and went, well, if you're going to take a swooping wide line to try and set up a move on the leader, I'll just go for second, but it didn't quite pay off, and it stays as they were.
I can't believe what I saw there. That was almost a mistake from Joe Holmes.
I know.
1 minute 45 to go on the clock. Jonathan Elliott still leads. Down the inside goes Holmes. What a big move that is if he makes that work. He's still got the inside line as they go towards turn 2 now. They'll be braking already for turn 3, and what a move that is from Joe Holmes. Adam Wright's trying to fight through as well. Had his nose ahead for a smidge of a second there for second place, but Jonathan Elliott fights back beautifully and holds on to second place.
Bit of a present for Mikey Nichols though, because it puts him right onto the back of these 3 as well. So that's 4 karts at the head of the field, but the first of those karts, Joe Holmes, he wouldn't put money against him pulling away from them now, such as his pace around here. Part of the G3 Pro squad, who took an extremely tight victory in yesterday's endurance race here, actually. What was the gap? Was it a 10th at the line?
Possibly
between
even, it was the length of a Club 100 kart.
It was, yes.
from where I was sat on the track at that point.
Yeah.
Elliott defensive into turn 1, right just behind, and Mikey Nichols continues to have this really strong run there in 4th place. Kevin Coombs, I can tell you, has got past Simon Kavanagh for 9th place.
Oh, and there's Adam Wright with the opportunity down the inside of hairpin 1. I thought that Elliott was going to cover that more, but he didn't. He's allowed Adam Wright through and allows Mikey Nichols, what a move, to just swoop in opportunistically and take both of them through hairpin 1. All changed then on this last lap in many ways. Joe Holmes just going to bring it home, but there, Nichols has allowed the door open, has he? Is allowed enough for a crowbar to be stuck in it and prise it open. Adam Wright is trying, but he couldn't make it work. And now Lewis Ridd is getting involved with Jonathan Elliott for 4th place. Joe Holmes swoops around this corner. Somehow, Jonathan Elliott held off Lewis Ridd there. It's going to be Joe Holmes who takes the win. Mikey Nichols, what a lovely move there to take 2nd place. Adam Wright 3rd, and then a drag to the line there, which is won by Jonathan Elliott just for 4th place ahead of Lewis Ridd. Francesco Volpe finishes strongly in 6th. Then it's Richard Masterson, Miguel Hall, Kevin Coombs and Simon Kavanagh. Matthew Batter, the highest place of the Class 3 runners, in 11th. Then it's Vinod Hirani, Tom Stalker, Jaden Cadigan and Stephen Hullock for heat number 6. We're halfway through our heats. Heat 7 is next here at Bayford Meadows.
Lee Henderson starts on pole position for Heat 7. Harry Melvin alongside him on the front row. Andrew Cherry and Steve Lindley will be on row 2. Darryl Lowe and Mike Bunner on row 3. Richard Allen and Alex Pritchard side by side. The C2 battlers on row 4. Paul Williams and Anthony Ridd on row number 5. Andrew Hicks, Matt Griffiths, David Wilson and Bradley Porter complete the 14 karts in this field. Big start this for Lee Henderson. Needs a good result for Super Heavyweight. He swooped around the outside. There's a bit of contact in the middle as Mike Bodner spins off towards the back of the field.
Yeah, I can see right in the middle of this pack though, Alex Pritchard and Richard Allen doing battle immediately here, Andrew. And Alex Pritchard has got back through because Richard Allen was out wide at turn number 2. So it's Pritchard up to 2nd place. Lee Henderson in 1st. And there is Richard Allen down the inside of Alex Pritchard. This is the battle for 2nd in the championship. Right there in front of you, in the flesh, in the metal, as it were. As they come onto the back straight, they're still side by side, are Allen and Pritchard. They do not want to give this up. You can see how much this means to Pritchard, but Allen is going to be down the inside at turn number 8, and he's going to take 2nd place for the moment from Alex Pritchard. Lee Henderson still holding on to the lead of this one, but this is a event, and Richard Allen raises his arm to go, "What you doing trying down there, mate?" This is going to be interesting stuff, I think, for the whole of this race, potentially, between these two. But as they come around to finish this first lap of the race, Lee Henderson leads ahead of Richard Allen, Alex Pritchard, Darryl Lowe and Anthony Ridd, your top 5.
I think it's raining out there.
It is raining out there.
The lap times have completely dropped off.
So this is going to be now, and here's Richard Allen going for the lead on Lee Henderson, and that's down the inside of turn number 4. Yeah, raining indeed here. Wasn't forecast, or was forecast as having a low percentage chance, perhaps we should say more accurately. But yeah, okay, this could add a whole new factor because, Andrew, the corners in the last sector here in particular, where you're putting so much faith into the grip levels,
yeah,
you don't want the grip to be getting worse.
No.
We've had situations this weekend where it's been getting better on a drying track. We've not yet had this as Darryl Lowe and Anthony Ridd go side by side into turn 8, as Alex Pritchard and Lee Henderson go side by side because Richard Allen's got through. Alex knows he's got to get through on Lee Henderson here and take the fight to his championship rival in the Class 2 standings.
Lee Henderson on the same part, though, this is a huge opportunity for him. What happens in the wet conditions? You get a lot of field spread. He's got a good track position at the moment there in P2. If he can hold on for it and say finish in the top 5, that would be a massive step forward for him in his super heavyweights battle. He's going to have the challenge of Alex Pritchard there. Alex Pritchard tries to slip it down the inside into turn 3. Will Henderson have the run off of turn 4? Yes, he will, and he holds on to that 2nd place. Here comes Ridd down the inside. Darryl Lowe is in there as well in the sky blue and yellow helmet with the chrome.
I thought Anthony Ridd was going to end up in a tyre barrier there as Alex Pritchard went to the outside. I didn't know if he knew that they were going basically 3 wide heading into turn number 2. This is destroying any intentions that Alex Pritchard had, though, of getting onto the back of Richard Allen, who's strolling out front at the moment, but he's got through on Anthony Ridd into turn 8, at least as Alex Pritchard. So it's Pritchard back up into third place now behind Lee Henderson.
1 point lead for Alan before this race. At the moment, it's 3 points with one heat and the final to go. There he is, hopping along down the pit straight. 4 minutes to go, and still Lee Henderson holds on to second place. But now the risk, Howard, is that the field is not spreading out. It's closing up. It's bunching up. Pritchard's underneath again. I think this time he is going to have second place, but the door's going to be open now for each and everybody to come through past Lee Henderson. He's got to hold himself up the front. He's fighting. He's lost third place to Ridd, but he's held to fourth.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rain must have abated because lap times are tumbling now. 57.8, the fastest lap of the race. But yeah, it was costly for Henderson. He was just in that. Once you get on the outside of 2, 3 and 4, it's so hard to hold, you know, keep your elbows out. But Lee Henderson did an admirable job there. Harry Melvin here under pressure from Andrew Hicks as well, who's having a good drive in this one. Highest place your Class 3 runners in 7th at the moment. Alex Pritchard, though, goes through turn number 10. And now the question is going to be, can Alex Pritchard do anything about Richard Allen? It's hard to think that he can, because it's 4.7 seconds up the road. Darrell Lowe goes defensive against Harry Melvin, heading into turn number 1. This is over 5th place. There's Pritchard in the 77. Then it's Anthony Ridd in the 68. That's 2nd and 3rd. And then it is the 13 of Lee Henderson with the blue helmet there with the high-vis yellow, going a bit defensive against Darrell Lowe. And there is the 44 of Mike Bodner coming in on Harry Melvin.
That shows you how crackers this race is. Mike Bodner was facing the wrong way at turn 1.
Yeah, my head was thinking, is he a lap down or so? No, he's there. Not quite sure how that's happened, but he's very much there, isn't he?
Yeah. I think that was the thing, that the pace of the front group was so slow as they were all negotiating each other, that Bodner has been able to catch back up, and he's such an experienced driver as well. He's been able to pick his way through the field, and he fully deserves this 7th place at the moment.
The rain has melted away. We're basically back up to dry lap times now. 55.8 said by Richard Allen. A bit more pace to find maybe out there, but that's pretty much back up to normal conditions. But it's 5 seconds the gap now. Alex Pritchard just got caught in these battles for too long. You can see the gap there on your screens, and it's going to be difficult now for Alex. Anthony Ridd there in 3rd place, not too far behind though. It's crucial that Pritchard doesn't let him through. Here is Steve Lindley doing battle with Andrew Hicks as they go through the hairpins. But it is crucial for Alex Pritchard. All right, if he can't catch up and pass Richard Allen, he's got to maximise the points he can get. As Harry Melvin's having a bit of a look at Mike Bodner into turn number 8, but can't find a way through.
Lee Henderson digging really deep here, Howard, holding on to that 4th place. As things stand, that would mean his lead over Bill Taylor in the Super Heavyweights Championship is 10 points with 2 races to go. The big thing, though, is that one of those races is the final. The final is where the biggest share, I should say, of the points is. Winning one of these heats, 20 points. Winning a final, 130. It is all set up towards that longer format. It's Darrell Lowe challenging Lee Henderson now. Darrell Lowe's got a nose down the inside into the first hairpin. I think he's going to have this move done. Yes, he is. So that's 4th place for Lowe, but Henderson's not giving it up, trying to fight back there.
This is crucial as well. Anthony Ridd challenging Alex Pritchard here, Andrew, and he is through.
Yep.
Ridd is through on Pritchard, so that's doing favour than there. You can see how frustrated Henderson is, but it's crucial that he keeps the focus here because Mike Bodner's getting through as well. And Lee Henderson needs to try and maximise his points here, but that's costly for Pritchard. As I say, okay, maybe you can't catch up onto the back of Richard Allen, who's just coming around now to start the last lap, but he's got to maximise his points. You've got to think that Pritchard, I mean, it's all or nothing, but the Class 2 Championship is potentially slipping away here from Pritchard. He's got to try and get by an Anthony Ridd, and he knows it. Tries to tuck underneath, but Ridd is going to go super defensive here. Ridd's got nothing to lose. Down the inside, though, at 3, though. Great move by Pritchard, but does it compromise both of them too much? Darrell Lowe is coming along for the party. He's going to try and go round the outside. Pritchard will go defensive into hairpin number 1, and he's going to be able to just about hang on to that one. This is nip and tuck stuff for Alex Pritchard in his effort to try and take the Class 2 victory here. Darrell Lowe, Mike Bodner's now having a go at Anthony Ridd as well, but he's going to go outside the track limit. It's going to be interesting to see how they climb the course. They're leaning on each other. Look at the 67 of Harry Melvin. Ridd is on the back of Mike Bodner. Oh my goodness me. That was a dramatic moment there. Richard Allen is going to come through the chicane to take the win in heat number 7. I would not want to lose steering in the middle of turn 8 at Bayford. The 77 of Alex Pritchard is going to hang on for second place. It's Darrell Lowe ahead of Harry Melvin, Steve Lindley, Lee Henderson. How did Harry Melvin manage to come out in fourth after all of that? He was being steered into the grass by the three of them leaning on each other. We're going to watch this here. Look at this. So Bodner's coming back onto the track. The 68 is Anthony Ridd. And Melvin's there just going, what have I got to do here? And it just, you lose all the steering and it just pushes the two of them off. Dramatic stuff there. It was Lindley, Henderson in 6th in the end there. Andrew Hicks, good drive for him. Class 3 runner in 7th. Paul Williams, Bradley Porter, Mike Bodner round out your top 10. Next up is heat number 8 here at Bayford Meadows.
Back at Bayford Meadows, here's your grid for heat number 8. Bradley Shears has pole position. The Boz, Steve Bosley, is alongside on the front row. Anwar Barul Smith and George Boothby are on row 2. Jason Bear and Tim Williams on row 3. Richard Lavender and Kieran Chigsey on row 4. Jordan Salter and Tom Fuller is your top 10. We're ready to go though. Away we do go. Bradley Shears on the left of your screen takes us from pole position. Anwar Barul Smith is already up to P2. Steve Bosley a little bit slow off the line there. All of these drivers won't have experienced the slight damp conditions out there. Let's see what happens into turn 3.
No, I actually quite like that approach from Steve Bosley. If you think you're going to get hung out to dry in second place, just hang back and get he actually got a switch back on Anwar out of turn 1. Tim Williams and Kieran Chigsey there slotting into 4th and 5th respectively. As Steve Bosley is going to therefore, I mean, it is an interesting thing of some of the races. You know, for these drivers for whom second place is their highest grid position of the day, this is actually quite costly here. Steve Bosley's going to try round the outside of Bradley Shears. That's going to be an interesting one. It's not going to pay off, but he has got by an hour. Yes, it is going to pay off. Steve Bosley is to the front of the field. What a lovely little exchange here. And this, I'm going to submit that this is the first person we've seen start second on the grid to end lap number 1 in the lead.
This is 500 IQ racing from Steve Bosley there. I love it. Across start, finish, end of lap 1. Steve Bosley leads, Anwar Barul Smith P2, and Kieran Chigsey's had a good start here. Can't win the super heavyweight title anymore as Barul Smith goes to the front.
I think Bosley gestured to let him through, and I don't know if that's because he felt that he had defended by way of contact, or he just thinks
it's the high level strat.
I'm not going to let my time be wasted battling with you, Anwar. You can go up the road, and I will worry about. I mean, where is Steve Bosley in
Steve
championship?
Bosley is racing in a dimension beyond anything any of us can understand. Do not question the man known as Boss.
I wouldn't dream it. I mean, he comes into today tied on points with Jordan Salter in the championship. Higher placed Class 2 runners. But yeah, I daren't question. He's here defending against Kieran Chigsey right now. Heading into the chicane. Tim Williams behind them as well. Back of his heat win earlier on. Chigsey having a look here, but yeah, brilliant stuff. Right, it's Jordan Salter gets past on Jason Bear. And Luke Phillips has just got by on Samuel Bensley and Christian Hughes as well.
TLW for Anwar.
It is.
Tim Williams up there again. I see Howard had a very good first heat in the number 96.
Yep.
4th in the early stages of this one.
Absolutely. Tom Fuller as well there in the 163, putting pressure on Richard Lavender. In fact, here he is down the inside at turn number 8. It goes Tom Fuller. Nicely done move. Becoming a bit of a textbook move here around Bayford Meadows. As Tim Williams starts to put pressure onto the back of Kieran Chigsey. And Fuller and Lavender head into the chicane. Fastest lap of the race from Anwar Barul Smith. Steve Bosley, 1.8 seconds back. Here's Tim Williams. Oh, Tim Williams using all the banking. And that can't stand. That's a bit, yeah, Chigsey coming back through. To my mind, that was gaining a bit of an advantage by using the curb, but I'm not in the position that makes that decision. And Tom Fuller's gone down the inside anyway, so now he can't give the position back.
Yep.
So what's done is done. Tim Williams in 3rd place behind Steve Bosley.
That's some really good driving from Tom Fuller to read that in this instance and go, oh yeah, if I can tripping over one another trying to be stewards and drivers at the same time, I'll take advantage of this.
Yep.
Gain a position.
there is a bit, I know you can't, they're looking at the track limits, but there's a bit of me that wishes you could use that curving on the races. It looks a lot of fun because of how it's banked towards the circuit. Do a bit of oval racing in your Club 100 car. Oh, that was the moment for Bradley Shears there.
Yeah, just climbing on the top of Richard Lavender's bumper. The bumper's doing their job. I know it's been a while since we've had this shape of Club 100 car, but that's the kind of thing that you used to see, a bit of a climb over situation that we don't nowadays in Club 100.
No, always looking for the improvements. Are they at Club 100 with these karts?
After next week's ABkC qualifiers, the work won't be over for the Club 100 staff, who are just a stone's throw away from us here at Bayford Meadows. There's a bump and pass penalty for Bradley Shears for what's been going on out there. But new engines for next year.
Yep.
For the fleet, which makes everyone smile.
It does indeed.
2 minutes 10 seconds to go. Anwar Barul Smith, your leader. 4.2 seconds is his lead over Steve Bosley and here Tim Williams. Tim Williams looking down the inside. Can't get the move done though.
A few movers and shakers on the last lap. Andrew Bradley Shears got past Richard Lavender. That was for 6th place. And Luke Phillips and Samuel Bensley, 2 Class 3 drivers making hay, getting past Jason Bear and Jordan Salter respectively. So a few moves on that last lap.
Another question for you. Richard Newton, how did he do in his second heat? Because we're keeping an eye on this points battle that he's having with Kieran Chigsey. Kieran Chigsey still running in 5th place in this race. In fact, no, he's not. He's in 6th place now. No, sorry. No, he is in 5th place. Sorry. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th on your screen. It's been a long season, folks. There is your leader. We'll have 2 more laps to complete in this one. Steve Bosley, bit of a tap on the tyres there from Tom Fuller, and I think he knows that he made contact with the tyres, so that may be a warning or something greater coming in the direction of Tom Fuller. But Steve Bosley still doing a great job here, holding on to 2nd place, taking advantage of his higher grid slot in this 2nd rotation of the heavyweights. 1 more after this and then our finals. We do seem to be flying through the agenda today. Track limit warning for Jordan Salter in kart number 42. Salter currently running in 11th place. Down the inside goes Williams. Great move from Williams. Uses the grip that is available on that inside line, but Bosley's fighting back here and retakes the position. So Bosley back to 2nd, Williams 3rd, Fuller in 4th. Anwar Barul Smith sets the it goes us on to the last lap of this race. Can Bosley hold on? There he was 9th, wasn't he? Heat number 5.
He was 9th in heat number 5, as I'm severely questioning the finding page function of this thing I'm using to browse the results. Anyway, yes, last lap indeed. Steve Bosley under attack here from Tim Williams, who's going to have a little look into hairpin 1, but Bosley shuts the door on him. Great racecraft that Bosley's shown so far in this one. Behind them, Tom Fuller and Kieran Chigsey are going for a little bit of a dance there. I thought that Tom Fuller was going to get turned round a bit there. Tom Fuller not too happy with that, but it's given a bit of a lifeline to the Boz, who's looking tidy now to come home in 2nd place, albeit some 7 seconds behind Anwar Barul Smith, who's coming around the final corner now. Anwar Barul Smith's going to take a comfortable victory here in heat number 8, but it is going to be Steve Bosley. Very impressive drive from the Boz, who takes 2nd place there, just at the line by a 10th ahead of Tim Williams. Tom Fuller is in 4th, and it's Kieran Chigsey, highest place in the super heavyweights. Richard Lavender in 6th, 7th for Bradley Shears, Luke Phillips, Samuel Bensley and Jason Bear, with Luke Phillips being the highest place for Class 3 runners. That rounds out your top 10. There's Jordan Salter, Christian Hoos, Max Jameson, Benjamin Wotton and Paul Jameson, and my goodness me, there wasn't a lot of field spread because I couldn't keep up with them going across the line. But that was the end of your 2nd rotation of heats. Coming up next here at Bayford Meadows is heat number 9. Here's your grid then for heat number 9. Francesco Volpe starts this one from pole with Richard Newton alongside him. Tim Hill and Lewis Reed make up row number 2, with Harry Melvin and Lee Henson on row 3. And it's Andrew Jerry and Dave Pethers, Alan Wright and Darryl Lowe to round out your top 10. But we're already away, and it's a good start from the pole side of the grid. It's a very good start from the pole side of the grid, because Harry Melvin in 5th is going to take that. And still, unfortunately for Richard Newton, he gets hung out to dry. Now that could be very expensive for Newton there in his battles within super heavyweight ranks. Adam Wright and Lee Henderson battling away through 2, 3 and 4 there. Oh, it's good. Oh, and Jaden Cadigan has got tangled at the back with, I want to say that might be Stephen Hullett, but we'll look to confirm that on timing as they come around.
It's all getting a bit pushy in the middle there.
It is. Richard Newton coming back out. Look at this little super heavyweight scrap here. Andrew Cherry, Lee Henderson, Richard Newton all together there in the middle of the pack. Meanwhile, Francesco Volpe under severe pressure now from Lewis Ridd at the front of the field, but Harry Melvin's trying to get involved as well in the white helmet and the black suit. He's going wide in 10, which allows Tim Hill to swoop back through into third place. There's a bit of a frantic feel to our heavyweights in the last few heats, I feel, and this heat is no exception. There are a lot of people with scores to optimise and perhaps scores to settle in the championship, or at least championship battles to settle, shall we say. Francesco Volpe leads though, but Lewis Ridd is right in his wheel tracks now. Look at this, Adam Wright knows he needs to move on up this field. Robust move there going through, and Harry Melvin for fourth place. Adam Wright up in the number 3 cart.
I mean, if you're one of those super heavyweights in particular, we talked about it 2 weeks ago at Lid, getting into the A final as a super heavyweight is already, it's a big haul of points.
Yep.
You know, you're in a B final. Yes, you could be starting at the front of the B final, but if all goes wrong for you, you're going to be down in 20th or something, losing a stack of points. And I think that's what's on the mind of a number of the C2s and the super heavyweights. Same as we said with lightweights this morning, there's opportunities here to get into that top 24 qualifiers to automatically be in the A final, but it means that you've got to be very, very brave with your overtakes out there.
Absolutely. Here's Lewis Ridd though for the lead of the race. Oh, textbook move down the inside, but that's going to open the door for Volpe to get the switch back, and it's exactly as they started the lap. That was as simple as that. Textbook in both regards there for the move, but that's opened the door for Adam Wright, who goes down the inside of Lewis Ridd. And that's Adam Wright. Yeah, he's really taken this one by the scruff of the neck, hasn't he? Up into second place. Tim Hill trying for third place.
It is a thing with turn 1. You turn in, there's a good amount of grip, but then it drops away from you, I find, mid-corner. So I can see what the frustration was for it there. He's turned in, it's like, oh, this is great. And then he's got a sack of understeer.
There's 2 phases to turn 1, definitely. It's not, double apex is the wrong term, but because of the way that the pit entry goes off and the edge of the circuit starts to encroach, you've sort of got to start, it forces you to start an earlier turn in than you would otherwise choose to do for that apex.
Yeah.
So it forms this interesting sort of double phase corner, if you like. Francesco Volpe leads now, but now it's Adam Wright who's challenging Volpe for the lead. Volpe keeping it tight through turns 3 and 4.
From Adam Wright at the moment, they try and work together with Francesco Volpe to pull
Oh.
away. But now that was the... Oh, if we can hold on to it, it was the right decision. Oh, big off.
Yeah,
is that turn down at turn 3?
Yeah, is that Newton and... It's Newton and Cherry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Richard Newton and Andrew Cherry, by the looks of it. Lewis Ridd battling away with Tim Hill and Volpe here. Oh, wait, was that off? Was that down at 2? We think.
Yeah, turn 2, turn 3. I think that's where that was. But no, the reason why I like that move from Adam Wright, he'll have wanted to work with Volpe, but Volpe didn't want to work with him. So it's like, right, well, I've got to get by you then.
Yeah.
And move on up the order. So that was very, very good from Adam Wright. Here's Lewis Ridd trying the same move that he had to go out a few laps ago, and this time it does work. This time on Tim Hill for third place. I'm sure that was actually at turn 3 now, because yeah, it is Richard Newton and Andrew Cherry. Really, that's not good for Richard Newton in his fight for third place in super heavyweights.
There's that. He's quite close with Kieran Chigsey, isn't he? Going into today. So that's for third place in our super heavyweights. Adam Wright ducks his head, knows he wants to open a gap here to give himself a comfortable victory. Volpe there doing well to hold in second. Lewis Ridd, so much pace that Lewis Ridd has had this season. He's always one of those drivers when I see him on a grid, it's like, yeah, he's going to be a challenge. He's going to be going to have some pace. He's going to be a difficult person to deal with, and yeah, in third place, putting the pressure on Volpe. Tim Hill.
Eagle-eyed among you will maybe have noticed that there's a slight shine on the helmets now, because we will race into dark here tonight. Floodlights will go on. We'll get the end of the Club 100 season under the lights here at Bayford Meadows.
Something that we don't see so much, you know. We see a lot in when we cover. Oh, Dave Pethers down the inside of Darrell Lowe there into hairpin 1. But yeah, we see this sometimes when we give you coverage of the BUKC qualifiers in November.
Something
sounded wrong, yeah.
Like someone's brake disc was running out of alignment there.
It sounded like it was running out of tune. Yeah, Adam Wright comes out to finish lap number 6. But yeah, floodlights are on, in fact, aren't they, at the circuit now? So, yeah, Tim Hill's helmet is probably the best one for that. That silvery chrome reflecting the lights, that's going to be good as darkness falls. But yeah, it is a pleasure to be bringing stream coverage of the last round of a sprint championship. Not something that we've done ever in previous seasons. So yeah, great that we're able to show you this finale weekend to the season, and indeed we will be racing into the darkness here with our heavyweights and super heavyweights.
Talking super heavyweights, so Lee Henderson at the moment sitting on an 8th place. The good news, that's improving his score. The bad news, that is really opening the door now for Bill Taylor, because if Bill Taylor's to strike in, let's say, a 4th place again, he's cutting that lead down to 4 points. Oh, Tim Hill and Harry Melvin very, very close there to having an incident.
Yeah, on to the last lap we are, so it's now or never for these moves, but you'd probably pick never if the now was going off wide and going into the grass. But that was a close run thing there.
And the other opportunity that I think it gives to Bill Taylor, an 8th, 6th and 8th for Henderson, that'd probably be final territory. Bill Taylor currently with a 4th and a 3rd and a race to run. He's got an opportunity of getting in the A final. Yeah. And already consolidating a big amount of points even before he's turned a wheel in that A final. It really is putting the pressure on Henderson now as we are on the last lap. But here comes Adam Wright, who's also putting pressure on for the battle in 3rd place overall. Takes race victory. Volpe in 2nd, Ridd 3rd, Hill 4th. Harry Melvin wraps out the top 5. It's Pethers, Lowe, Bodner, Henderson. So in the end, it's P9 for Lee Henderson. 10th for Bradley Porter. Jaden Cadigan races well there to 11th place, 2nd in in C3. Bradley Porter was the top C3. Andrew Hicks and Stephen Hullock, 12th and 13th. Last of those on the lead lap. Andrew Cherry and Richard Newton had that incident. Finished 14th and 15th.
Absolutely. That was, I think that was Adam Wright's 10th heat win of the season, if that's correct. Coming up next, speaking of which, is heat number 10 here at Bayford Meadows. Grid then for heat number 10, Vinod Hirani on pole with Anthony Ridd alongside. It'll be Joe Holmes and Steve Bosley on row number 2, Miguel Hall and Jonathan Elliott on row 3. Joel Arguelles and David Jarvis are your 4th row with Kevin Coombs and Richard Masterson rounding out the top 10. It's Leon Duprise and Lawrence Cheer rounding on row 6 and then row 7 to round out your 14 kart grid. Blake Temperley and Benjamin Wooten. And if they're going round again now after I've gone through that quick laugh,
He'll be storming out the box.
I will. Ah, no, we're fine. We're good. Well, they could still go around again. But here we go. We are trying to get through these grids quite quickly. There's lightning turnarounds here today by the Club 100 crew, making sure that we get a full race programme in today. Here we go then. Vinod Hirani will lead them away in the number 74 kart. But there is Joe Holmes. He's going to go to the inside from 3rd on the grid. And Anthony Ridd from 2nd on the grid is going to try around the outside. He's going to be all over the curb. And that's questionable that he's keeping his foot in it. But keep it in he does, and he leads them through into turn number 3.
Yeah, identified that Vinod Hirani was a little bit slow off the lights there, and there was going to be a chance to go around the outside.
Yeah, Hirani's dropping back, and that's Masterson round as well. That's all got a bit clumsy at the back. I think Blake Temperley involved as well.
Yeah, 3rd race, unfortunately, that Blake Temperley's come to blows at turn number 5 on lap number 1. 6.5 minutes to go. Holmes looking round the outside of Ridd here. There's a penalty for Anthony Ridd. Now I'm going to be interested to see what that is on timing. Is it going to be
it's for a jump start?
It's for a jump start then. So crossed the line as Holmes gets into the lead. Miguel Hall follows through. So that will be, I mean, that'll be a bit of a slam dunk really. Yeah. That Ridd will have broken the timing beam before Vinod Hirani did.
Yeah, now if memory serves correctly, it's 2 positions for every 2 positions deducted for every row that you're ahead. It'll be 1 because he jumped basically onto row 0, if you think of it that way.
Yep.
So 2 positions to be deducted for Anthony Ridd come the end of this race. As Jonathan Elliott goes down the inside of Kevin Coombs. That's for 6th place in hairpin 1. And so coming onto the back straight. Joe Holmes starting to pull away here. As further back, Vinod Hirani is defending against Lawrence Cheer. Hirani has found this one difficult. He had a starting from pole, of course, but he just seemed to have a particularly poor drive off of the corners during that first lap. As coming around to finish the second lap of the race comes Joe Holmes. Steve Bosley there in 4th place, having a strong day so far. David Jarvis there in 5th place. And here's Miguel Hall.
Had a tougher run in the early parts of today. This would be a good booster for him. He could finish second on the grid and give him a shot of getting in the A final, I feel, with how the scores have been working out. Steve Bosley trying to find a way past Anthony Ridd. Anthony Ridd's job now is to try and keep himself as far up the order as possible, reduce the impact of the penalty. He's going to go back 2 places no matter what. If he can hold in the top 5 once that penalty has been applied, that would be good.
Holmes Cheer did get past Vinod Hirani in the end, and there's some movements further back as well. Blake Temperley and Richard Masterson getting by on Leon Dupreez as they both do a bit of a recovery drive after that. And who was that off in the chicane? That was the 172. I think that's Leon Dupreez in the wall there, now recovering. But that was a bit of a heart in the mouth moment for him, as there was a move. It was the attempt from Benjamin Wotton, I want to say. But that led to Dupreez going into the wall at the chicane, and yeah. That was a blink and you missed it one. I think you were wondering what we were going on about.
I was just looking over at the SOD, and suddenly we were getting very excited. But you were right, mate, because Benjamin Wotton has received a takeout penalty for his part in that incident.
Absolutely. That is David Jarvis starting to come under sustained pressure from Jonathan Elliott. It's in the battle over 5th place. Here they are. Number 116 versus the number 31. Jonathan Elliott having a strong finish here to his season, I think. As Andrew was saying, his mathematical chances of Class 2 honours have slipped away, but well, he's having a strong day nonetheless, securing his 3rd place in those standings. Potentially, so I imagine there's a chance for him to take second. He's going to go down the inside of David Jarvis either way here. But Jarvis is going to try and switch back, but I think that's going to be job done for Jonathan Elliott. Yes, it is. And the number 31 moves up to 5th place.
Sorry, was that a question on
can he mathematically still take second within Class 2, I suppose, was the question?
No, he can't.
Okay, he is out for the count on that one. Okay, fine. So 3rd in Class 2, but finishing strongly nonetheless here is Elliott. Joe Holmes sets a new fastest lap of the race, 54.611. Still setting impressive pace. He leads by 2.8 seconds over Miguel Hall, who in turn is 1.3 ahead of Anthony Ridd, still with that penalty hanging over him.
The other quite big thing in the scoring in Class 2, we'll go through more of this when we get to the final. Both Pritchard and Allen have good, currently being counted as drops, final scores, kind of in their back pocket.
Yes.
If their finals turn out to be a complete and utter mess, they're still going to score a good haul of points.
They're not hiring us to represent them, are they?
No, no. But it is something to bear in mind that, yeah, even if it's a bad run for Richard Allen, for example, it's still over to Alex Pritchard to have a really good final to overhaul the amount of points that Allen's got in his back pocket. So, as I say, we'll monitor that more as we go along. There's still this heat and 2 more to go. It's to decide as to who's going to get into those finals and which ones they're going to be.
One of the rules when floodlights come on in Club 100 karting is that you do have to have either a clear visor or you are allowed to have a yellow tinted visor.
Yes.
So it's very much like that effect you always get when they have the Singapore Grand Prix. We get to see the driver's eyes. You get to see the eyes of the drivers in the helmet as they're spotting their apexes and you know, generally got their eyes on the rivals around them. There's always a nice little difference when you're watching the karting during sunset, twilight and into the darkness. Last lap though for Joe Holmes. 4 seconds to the good. Here's Steve Bosley, who's still within 6/10 of Anthony Reid.
He's converted his positions on the grid really, really well across the course of these heats. As all of these drivers up at the front end, in particular Anthony Reid and Steve Bosley on your screen at the moment. Richard Masterson has got back past Blake Temple, who saw Masterson in trouble earlier on in this race. He's back into the top 10. And Joel Arguelles having a good run in this race as well. Is P9 at the moment, our BIKC Super Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, indeed. Good stuff there. Joe Holmes, though, is going to come round the final corner here to take another win in a stellar season. Wins heat number 10. Miguel Hall is going to finish in second place. Reid will finish third on the road, but has penalties to be applied. Steve Bosley finishes fourth with Jonathan Elliott in fifth. David Jarvis, your highest placed super heavyweight in this particular race, in sixth. Then it's Kevin Coombs. Lawrence Cheer, again your highest placed class 3, ahead of Richard Masterson in ninth. Joel Arguelles moves up to 10th on the last lap there. Blake Temple, Vinod Harani, Benjamin Wotton, and then it will be Leon Dupreez. Rounds out your 14 runners in heat number 10. Coming up next here at Bayford Meadows is round 11, heat 11. Let's take you through the grid then for this 11th heat. In our heavyweights, Paul Jameson, all Paul front row. Paul Jameson and Paul Williams on row 1, with Alex Pritchard and George Boothby on 2. Brad Jones and Chris Alcock on 3. Then it's Burrell Smith and Richard Allen, Jason Bear and Bill Taylor, Richard Lavender and Max Jameson, Sam Bensley, Daniel Hollinshead, Christian Hoos and David Wilson. And away we go, and it's a strong start from the pole side of the grid. Another race here where it's Pritchard versus Allen, and Pritchard knows it because he's gone straight for the lead of the race there. Paul Jameson was hung out to dry a little bit on the curbing there. This time it was the pole sitter who ended up out onto that curbing at turn 1, and it's immediately Pritchard versus Allen at the front. Two men on a mission here into hairpin number 1 as darkness falls over the circuit. It's going to be Richard Allen to the front, and that is who's that getting involved with them as well?
It's Boothby.
It is Boothby, I agree. Coming on to the back straight. No, it's not. It's Bill Taylor.
How's he got that far up the order?
Okay, a very impressive and fast start from Bill Taylor. Apologies to Boothby, who is in the mixed, definitely. But yeah, so it is Richard Allen, and all of us working out that that's allowed Chris Alcock to get up into second place. So it's Alcock.
Big clump of the tyres. I think that was Taylor. I think that was Bill Taylor hitting the tyres there. He's slow off of the chicane, and now Burrell Smith's going to go through.
Yep.
Well, in all the chaos there, this is an interesting situation now, because Richard Allen out front. What do the Applewood boys do here? Because on the one hand, Pritchard needs all the points, needs to be ahead.
Oh,
it's Paul Williams has a
round.
half spin.
That looked a bit unforced to me.
Yeah,
that was very uncharacteristic.
If we get into this situation on the last lap, I can see Alcock and Pritchard switching, but if Chris Alcock can chase down Richard Allen and get in front of him, which, no offence to Alex, I don't think he quite has the pace to do that by himself today, because Richard Allen is just in such supreme form in the latter stage of the season as he hops over the curb. They're all hopping
He looks
over the curb.
confident, doesn't he?
And he checks over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's a good point, mate. It's a good point, but at the moment, neither of them have got the pace, because Richard Allen just set a 56.2.
So at the moment, Richard Allen, I think I'm right to say, he's on 3 heat victories. He's on for pole position in the A final.
Yeah.
That's how good a day he's having.
It's going to be tight between him and Joe Holmes, isn't it?
Yeah, Jones has got second first on his plate at the moment.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Burrell Smith is still there. Cone penalty confirmed for Bill Taylor.
Right, we will have to assess how serious that is.
Oh, and Alex Pritchard, there you go.
The switch has been done. The switch has been done then.
Yeah. Pritchard now ahead of Alcock. Alcock can still help. I mean, if you can do a bit of a bump draft on the right parts of the lap, that can help. He could also hold off the attentions of Anwar Brule-Smith and allow Alex to focus solely on the job of reeling in Richard Allen. That's the other big thing that Alcott could do here. And he might as well. They're in the same class. Two Class 1 runners in this race are Chris Alcock and Anwar Brule-Smith, who has just himself set the fastest lap of the race, 55.5.
Right, so in all of this, just confirm that Richard's not had any penalties. He has got those two huge victories so far. So, as it would stand at the end of this race, if Allen finishes first, Brule-Smith goes down the inside of Alcock, that is a big move for third place. It's 3 points at the minute. It's 3 points, Allen's advantage over Pritchard going into the final, if it stays like this. The crucial thing is, though, going back to those in your back pocket finals, Allen's is worth 3 more points than Pritchard, so effectively you can think of the lead as 6 points, not 3, 6 points. That's why it's so key for Pritchard to keep in this position, give himself as much of an opportunity as he can of overhauling that gap when we get into the A final. So I think it's pretty beyond doubt that both of them are going to be in the A final.
Yeah, but Brule-Smith here isn't really. Well, he doesn't care. He doesn't need to care. He's just here racing, and Pritchard feels the need to go defensive into hairpin 1. But I'm afraid there's a sense of inevitability about this, because Brule-Smith is the fastest driver on the circuit at the moment.
We just have a mention as well for Daniel Hollinshead. He's currently in 6th place, top of the C3s. A brilliant drive from Hollinshead. And there he is, just in the back of your shot.
Yeah, very good point, mate. Driving very well at the moment. Alex Pritchard able to hold Anwar at bay. Be very useful for him if Chris Alcott could make a move on Anwar whilst Anwar is. I don't want to say held up, but whilst he's looking at Pritchard in front of him. As I say, Brule-Smith is the fastest driver on the circuit up until he came onto the back of Alex, so that's what I'm trying to get at with my point. But if Chris Alcott can make a move here on Anwar, that would very much help his Applewood stablemate.
I mean, he's doing enough at the moment to distract Brule-Smith and keep Brule-Smith thinking about defending and not attacking. They have cruised back to Alex Pritchard in that number 77. Just to mention super heavyweight and what the situation is there. Bill Taylor has the cone penalty, so he is going to get dropped 1 position. So if he stays where he is, that's going to end up being 6th place. That would mean the gap between Henderson and Taylor going into the final is 5 points. 5 points in the advantage of Henderson, but that's where getting in the A final is going to be key.
Yes.
Because that's where the big points are on offer. The B final, you're always going to be limited by the number of points. As Anwar Brule-Smith has a look at Alex Pritchard there, trying to find his way through for 2nd place.
At the moment, it's nowhere near enough attention being taken off of Pritchard in order for him to focus on the pace to in any way challenge Richard Allen at the front. It is all about keeping Anwar at bay at the moment.
See how hard Alex Pritchard is trying to make the chassis work there when he takes that very abrupt turn in to hairpin number, the first hairpin, turn number 5. Not long to go in this one. Richard Allen, you've got to think, barring a disaster, has got this race won. The crucial thing is, can Alex Pritchard hold on for 2nd place? In this trio, he's got the wrong man behind him. He needs his endurance stablemate, Chris Alcock there.
On to the last lap goes Richard Allen. Alex Pritchard looking over his shoulder, wants to check, wants to cover any attempt by Anwar for a move. And actually, it wasn't a strong first corner from Anwar. And he's actually himself going defensive against Chris Alcock there, is Anwar. Alcock doing a good job here of hounding Brule-Smith, doing a bit of a favour for Alex. Further back, Jason Baird, Max Jameson having a good battle. They've just got by David Wilson. And Christian Hughes as well, getting by on Brad Jones. That's for 13th place. Here's your leader. Just got to bring this one home now. And here is the man who would like to take the Class 2 championship at the end of the day. But he's now got a little bit of an upward struggle to do so. And there is Anwar Brule-Smith with a bold move down the inside of turn number 9. And he's keeping his foot in it. And who's going to keep this one together through turn 10? Pritchard has to keep his foot in. It's so close to track limits. Brule-Smith, it's going to be the win for Richard Allen. And oh my goodness, does Chris Alcock get out of the way for Alex Pritchard? He doesn't before the line. It's Allen ahead of Brule-Smith. And then it's Alcock, then Pritchard. Bill Taylor in 5th, but with a cone penalty being applied. There's also Paul Williams battling away with Jason Bear. Drag race to the line there. Bill Taylor in 5th, Hollinshead in 6th. Good drive for one of our Class 3 runners there. Williams just holds on to 7th ahead of Bear by 16 thousandths of a second. Max Jameson in 9th. Then it was Samuel Bensley, Richard Lavender, David Wilson, Christian Hoos, Brad Jones and Paul Jameson. Well, stuff to digest there.
No team orders.
No team orders. But
It's
split seconds, there was so little time to... He didn't know that it was the cart behind him, to be fair, necessarily. We're already good for heat number 12 here at Bayford Meadows.
Ben Bennyworth on pole position then in kart number 37. Away we go for the last heat of the afternoon. Into turn 1 we all go. It's Simon Cavan who's running very wide. I don't think he was encouraged into that. That was just an alternative line through turn number 1. But Ben Bennyworth, he's had some rotten luck so far today, leads this race early on.
I don't think JV's going to be too keen if someone starts a Club 100 parkour scene here, but Kieran Chigsey challenging Steve Lindley in the mid-pack there as they go into hairpin number 1. And it was Tom Fuller as well who was on the exit curb of turn 1. I wonder if he's trying to let through. He's not happy about something, is Tom Fuller in the middle of this pack. Say he was all over the exit curb of turn number 1. Matt Wildman, though, challenging Ben Bennyworth here for the lead of the race. And this is important for him in his fight for 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, a bit of work for Matt Wildman to do. There's still a chance that Adam Wright could overhaul his points tally and take that 3rd place. So I think for Wildman, what's key is getting a good final grid slot. But he's challenging Ben Bennyworth here to go into turn number 1 and through it. Mikey Nichols having another strong run here, Howard.
Yeah,
been impressive today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But that's the move for the lead. Matt Wildman ahead of Ben Bennyworth, up into the lead, and now Mikey Nichols wants a piece of that action and gets by on Ben Bennyworth as well. So Mikey Nichols up into 2nd place. Looks to me like Bradley Shears has won the exchange over 3rd place. Has he got himself? No, 4th place. No, I'll try again. 5th place, because it's Jordan Salter who's up there in 4th place. Another driver who's featured prominently in the Class 2 rankings this season. Through penultimate corner then, and Matt Wildman has got what every race leader wants: a bit of breathing space ahead of the rest of the field as he comes around to finish lap number 2 and sets a 58.4 to try and seal the deal. Lap time's dropping just a bit here as perhaps we enter the cooler conditions of the day, because it was okay, it wasn't a balmy day, was it? But it was a mild day by November standards, and it does mean we're getting a bit of a cold late autumn night descending here over Kent. Here's Steve Lindley battling hard with Kieran Chigsey behind, and that is that Luke Pullen, I think. Yep. He's got by on Pullen, and Pullen is now battling there, the 181 versus Kieran Chigsey, and there's Tom Fuller. Wow, opportunistic move there, and Tim Williams will follow through as well, so that was a costly moment there for Kieran Chigsey. Down, I think, to 10th place now.
C3 watch, Luke Phillips had such a strong C3 season. He's leading once more in that category, ahead of Matt Griffiths. Marcus Neris, Tom Stalker and Matthew Batter out there as well, having a good run here. The whole field covered by less than 10 seconds at the moment. 4 minutes to go.
Yep.
Lindley confirmed as past Pullen, and here's everybody else. The number 83 of Luke Phillips passing through shot there.
Matt Griffiths there challenging Kieran Chigsey, as Bradley Shears here has a go at Jordan Salter but can't make the move stick. So it's Ben Bennyworth there in the 37 in 3rd, Jordan Salter in the 42 there with the white helmet and the blue suit. And he's going to go for a move on Ben Bennyworth is Salter, and gets the job done up into 3rd place for the number 42. Good drive there from Jordan Salter, and gives the universal signal for let's work together here and get on up the road, see if we can't take the fight to Mikey Nichols. They're going to have the work cut out now, because Nichols has got up to speed nicely here and is a good second and a half ahead of them, particularly after that little exchange that they had to swap positions.
Salter, as ever, he's been solid again. Whenever I've been seeing his name on the timing screen, it's been in, say, the top 6.
Yep.
Should see him through to the A final this evening here at Bayford Meadows.
Tom Fuller has fallen right to the back of the order, Andrew. I'm not sure what's happened to him there, but there's definitely been an issue there for Fuller. Keep your eyes peeled for any advantage by contact taken out penalties. Nothing coming out so far of that, but Fuller, unusually, to the back of the field.
If you're enjoying the coverage, 3 more races of this Club 100 Sprint season to go this evening. Do make sure that you've clicked that subscribe button to the Alpha Live YouTube channel and shared the stream, liked the stream, shared it to your friends and family. Let folks know that we're watching and that we've got 3 very, very big and interesting finals coming up across the course of the rest of this evening after this race number 12. 2 minutes to go. Matt Wildman comfortably out front in this one at the moment by 3 seconds ahead of Mikey Nichols in there. Third place, Jordan Salter, car number 42. It's battle for 4th between Ben Bennyworth and Bradley Shears.
If you are sat there going, oh, it's the final round of the Club 100 Sprints Championship for 2021, we share in your sadness. But there will be some more streamed action of Club 100 racing next weekend when the British Universities Karting Championship gets underway. Both Saturday and Sunday next weekend. Streamed coverage for you here with Alpha Live. And Double Dash Motorsport Media will be there for the commentary coverage as well, so do be sure to stay tuned for that. We've got one last little bit of Club 100 action to come your way here in 2021. Otherwise, of course, set on next season. Details of next year's championship coming out. Head over to club100.co.uk for the details. Championship registration for 2022 is going live before the end of this month. Tom Fuller here challenging Steve Lindley.
Tim Williams.
Excuse me, Tim Williams.
Or is it Tom Fuller?
Hang on, let's try that again. Tim Williams there. I think it might be actually.
Yeah,
I think Tom Fuller's had some issues putting a lap down.
Shears down the inside of Bennyworth there for 4th place. There's Tim Williams, the teal green details on his lid. Matt Wildman, another superb race from Matt Wildman.
Yeah, gauntlet was thrown down by Adam Wright, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's responded in his final heat of the day. Good drive here from Jordan Salter as well. As he's going to come through in 3rd, but it is Matt Wildman who takes the win. No, he doesn't take the win. He takes it on to the last lap. It's very close to the top. Darn it, I thought I'd make it through the whole day without it. Matt Wildman starts the last lap. You better take the win now, Matt. Steve, he didn't have a reason to win it before I said that, but now, well, my credibility's on the line. Lindley defending hard here. Again, is it a transponder issue for Fuller? It must be, because Fuller's only completed 3 laps here.
Yeah,
Fuller's had a transponder issue. So I would say that Tom Fuller is actually running in 7th place.
Yes.
And is battling away here with Steve Lindley in 6th. So yeah, frantic battle here for 6th place between Lindley, Fuller and Williams is going to get compromised, and that might allow Luke Phillips to come through. But Matt Wildman,
here he is,
as many would have anticipated, crosses the line to take the win in the final heat race of 2021 on our heavyweights. It'll be Mikey Nichols to come through to finish 2nd, Jordan Salter in 3rd, Bradley Shears in 4th, Ben Bennyworth in 5th, the highest of your super heavyweights in this one. Steve Lindley's going to just about hold on for 6th. Nice defensive driving there from Steve Lindley, has to be said. We're going to say Tom Fuller is actually in 7th, timing glitch on that one, but that will all be calculated post-race and he'll be given the correct positioning, I'm sure. There is Luke Phillips, Tim Williams, Kieran Chigsey would be in 10th with that timing glitch. Simon Kavanagh, Luke Pullen, Matt Griffiths, Marcus Narris, Tom Stalker and Matthew Batter.
Very good. Very good. Heat racing, all done.
There we go.
Club 100 Sprints 2021. We're going to take a short break here on the commentary whilst Race Control officiate and finalise all the results and we find out who's qualified for the CB and A finals. We'll be back very shortly here on your Alpha Live stream.
We're ready to go into the first of our finals here at Bayford Meadows. So here they are for the C final. Joel Arguelles will start this one from pole with Andrew Cherry alongside. Jaden Cadigan and Vinod Hirani are on row 2 with Christian Hoos and Marcus Naris on row 3. Row 4 is going to be David Wilson and Leon Dupreez. It'll be Tom Stalker and Benjamin Wooten rounding out your top 10 on this grid, with Blake Temperley and Stephen Hullock on row 6. Row 7 will be Paul Jameson and Brad Jones, and it will be George Boothby to round out this 15-kart grid. What's the crucial thing to look for in your C final? Well, it's that the top 4 get promoted up to the B final. So whilst it'd be lovely to have the win, there are the promotion spots on offer in this one. You join us in the midst of Andrew and I putting the finishing touches to our little championship table.
And I'm putting him under pressure.
So what bits of info are you after again?
I am after Mr. Henderson's scores. I assume he had an 8th, 6th and a 9th. Whilst he's doing that, what we can say, the C2 situation is as follows, that Richard Allen effectively is going into this last race with an 8-point lead. This will be the A final much later on. 8 points will be the advantage for Richard Allen over Alex Pritchard, and that's even if Richard were to fall off the road. One of his earlier finals in the season would come into his counting score, and he's got a good number in his back pocket, as we say, to rely on.
You said that Lee Henson had an 8th, 6th and a 9th. He had an 8th, 6th and an 8th.
That's okay. That's good news for Lee, and I'm going to ask you to do the same piece of homework for Mr. Bill Taylor and what he did. I've got a 4th, a 3rd and a 6th. But yet the floodlights are on here at Bayford Meadows. C final, B final and A final. All of them longer races, of course, 12 minutes in length. There will be a short practice session ahead of the A final as well. And as Howard's already mentioned, the job for the drivers in this C final coming up is to be in the top 4 come the end of the race, once all the results are checked over and drivers are weighed and all of that business, because that will mean there is a path for you through to the B final.
Your scoreline for Bill Taylor is correct.
4th, 3rd and 6th.
Correct.
Right. Now I'm going to ask you the other question. Can I have a sneaky peek at a B final grid?
You can.
I won't read it out for the ladies and gentlemen back home, because we don't want to spoil it.
Keep it a closely guarded secret. No one will know that they can go to results.alphatiming.co.uk and find it for themselves.
Absolutely. Okay. No, this is good. This is good news. This is good news. Can I have a look at the A final now?
He's getting
I'm
demanding.
very demanding at this stage of the season, folks, especially when my data's run out on the 4G. We'll have that fixed for next week. Okay. No, I'm happy. I'm happy about this. Anyway, C final. Let's give it its due. We saw a really intriguing C final earlier on for.
Saw an intriguing C and A final for the lightweights, indeed. But yeah, it was interesting for the C final. The dynamic of the top 4. We had some penalties coming into play for the top 4 as well. It's worth saying that if anybody picks up a 4-place penalty, the most common form of which comes by way of an ABkC B and bump and pass penalty, that's an immediate 4 position. So if you get one of those, you're not qualifying to the B final. It has to be said.
You started going into Oxbrook team names there, didn't you? A, B, C, D, E,
I did a
F,
bit.
G.
We got 126 teams next weekend, mate. We're gonna
Each with 4 drivers each.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. I would like a good night's sleep before that happens,
That's
though.
all right. That's okay.
But yeah. Yeah, the C final, the dynamics are important. You want to work together if you're in that top 4. You don't want, every driver wants to win. You do get a little nice trophy for winning the C final, but if you're given a choice between that and holding station but making sure that you don't do coming in like as Sebastian Buemi might say.
Some
Coming in like
crazy guy.
some crazy guy. That might be a niche reference for some motorsport fans.
I'm just noting, sorry, I know you've read the grid out already, Howard.
Yeah,
I was
fine.
distracted. I'm seeing a Bradley Shears in this C final.
Bradley Shears is at the back.
Ooh,
of
what's
this
happened there then?
final.
Why is he at the back? I don't think he's had that bad
Let's
a run
have
through.
a look
He had a
through.
DQ
That's
at
a
some
very
point.
good diplomatic way of masking the fact that you're asking me for another set of results, but fine. What has happened?
We did see earlier with the C final, we saw Sam Morris drive through very well from, I want to say, the 5th row of the grid in lightweights. Got in that top 4, moved on, and had a chance to race again in the B final.
First heat looks good.
Yep. Plenty of experience.
Indeed. Bear with us, folks. We're just working it out. Same way the drivers really are working out. Do I start in front of you? What's our... you know, it's an important skill, getting used to getting used to rolling up in Club 100. Going for these rolling starts. As we look to get underway for the start. Just having a look through, still not seeing any reason why Shears should be towards the back of these. Well, he had a 5-place deduction in his second race, so that put him down to 12th. So he had a bump and pass penalty and a cone penalty in his second heat, so that was quite costly for him. And then I'm guessing something went a little bit awry in his third heat as well to put him towards the back of here. So he'll be a driver who'll be looking to make up some positions, because on balance he would expect, I think, to be moving on up and be higher placed than he currently is. Still stalling slightly to see if I can uncover what happened in his final heat.
That's
he's
all right.
excluded
Yes,
for being underweight. I thought
we
there
go.
was be an exclusion along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a weigh-in at the end of heat number 12, and that's why we've had a slightly longer gap before heat number for the C final, excuse me. And yeah, excluded from his final heat.
We've got questions coming in. I'm going to need to see that A final grid again.
Okay, just incidentally,
you can tell it's the end of a season.
Okie dokie. Let's put up the A final grid for you, sir, here in
Thank
the
you.
comms box. Driver's getting ready though. You can see Jaden Cadigan there in the number 45. Couple back from him is Vinod Harani as well, who I think had a difficult time of it earlier today. We'll be looking to make up some places. And that's Marcus Naris there in between them. Jaden Cadigan starts second on this grid. And trying to work out if Christian Hoos is checking for rain or warming his hand off of... Well, he's not warming his hand off his engine because he just started it, but here we go. The darkness falling over the track then. For some of our drivers, I'm not sure how much driving they'll have done under floodlights. It is a slightly different kettle of fish. Spotting your apexes can be a little bit different, the way that the shadows can play as you're driving through the darkness. Just little bits and pieces that can make life that little bit harder to spot that apex or avoid that cone, or, you know, have your eye line through that last chicane, for example, is going to be a little bit different in these conditions. Just subtle differences as you're going around can make judgment calls that little bit harder, you know, when you're making these split-second decisions. We are going to go around again. Here we go then, the start of our last 3 races in the 2021 Club 100 Sprint Championship. As I said earlier, details of 2022 coming out over the next few weeks. Registration due to go live before the end of November. It's not just the Sprint Championships offered by Club 100. There's the The Sprint 60 Championships, there's the Endurance Championships, of which myself and Andrew are particular fans, being as we take part in that format. There's the Club 100 Experience Championship as well. Details of all of these and many more on the Club 100 website, club100.co.uk. Also check out Club 100 on Facebook. There's a live, a thriving community, that's the word I'm after, a thriving community on Facebook. So if you've got any questions, there is a good place to ask it. Or if you have any further questions, call the office and they'll be happy to help. Here we go then. Andrew Cherry is on pole for this one. Jaden Cadogan alongside. That's the 23 on the pole and the 45 Cadogan in that difficult spot. It's been difficult all day to start second. How's he going to do? He's going to actually get a very good start off the line and slot into second place as Hirani comes under pressure from Marcus Darris, but they're all going to push each other out wide, and there's a spin as well there from the 16 of Paul Jameson. So a little bit of a difficult start there, and I wonder, have the grip levels gone down as Jaden Cadogan's out onto the grass there at turn number 2. And yeah, look at this, it's cooled down massively out on track, and a bit of rain as well. Being given the universal symbol by Andrew for rain, and they're all squirming around trying to find the grip out there in the darkness as they're all working their way around for the first time. A voyage into the unknown, not had any warm-up laps, bear in mind. So it was a costly moment for Jaden Cadogan, and some other drivers went round as well, but it's Andrew Cherry, your pole sitter, who's been able to get on top of these conditions so far.
It's that fine rain that wets you. That's what it is out there. Just popped out to have a quick chat with our super heavyweight contenders, who are very tense. Very tense, imagine. But we'll come on to that later. As I say, 12 minutes is this final, 4 spots in the B final, and look out, and it will look bizarre to you back home. It's like, why are they all going so slowly? It is really, really fine rain, which then just sits on the top of the circuit. This is a circuit that's fairly low grip in the dry anyway. It'll be very challenging for the drivers out there, but it's Cherry, Shears, Naris and Hirani. That's your top 4.
Drivers who had an issue there, some kind of spin. I think Leon Dupree's had a difficult first lap. Brad Jones, Stephen Hullock, Paul Jameson we saw have the spin at turn number 1, and David Wilson as well. They've all had a bit of a drama at the start there. Jaden Cadogan recovered well enough back up to 8th, but it's still difficult. Let's look at the way that Vinod Hirani is having to work the steering wheel, and he just suddenly finds more grip. And we were mentioning surface changes around here, and this is where they come into play. You've got this slightly older surface. There's a spin there for Christian Hughes, I think that is, in the background. But you've got this surface here, you can see them on now. Particularly low grip on this slightly older surface, and then if we pan down here, you'll see they come over that line and onto a more grippy surface. Still slippery in these conditions, but there's more grip. And that's fine for this bit of the circuit where it's all that or all the other surface, but there are other corners where you'll see half the track will be in one surface, one form of tarmac, where basically they've filled in worn bits of tarmac around this circuit. You can see it on that corner that the outside is the older tarmac. Those are the difficult bits, because you'll get the point where you can turn in and you'll suddenly lose grip mid-corner because they've gone, well, we didn't need to replace that bit of tarmac. So here we go, and this is Bradley Shears challenging for the lead on Andrew Cherry as he transitions onto that kind of surface after the turning point of turn number 1. A nice move there puts Bradley Shears, who started at the back of the grid, into the lead of the race.
What a driver of the stature of Bradley Shears will be trying to, you can sense it from him. He's trying to lean forward a little bit into the corners, get that weight onto the front tyres, get them working harder. And see the drivers moving their body weight around in these conditions.
This isn't quite what I was expecting from us. If I didn't know that rain was going to come, it's given a completely different complexion to this race. So Andrew Cherry's just been passed by Bradley Shears. So Shears is in the lead, Cherry in second, Vinod Hirani there is in third, and the last of the promotion spots at the moment is Benjamin Wotton in the 172. But the field spread, Andrew, is quite pronounced in this race now, as drivers have at different rates come to terms with the conditions. But you can see the way that they're having to work the steering here. This corner in particular is going to feel clumsy as anything in these conditions, after previously it was a real throw the cart in, as they go through the chicane and onto another lap.
Just trying to see who down the order, maybe making a bit of a move back through the order. Christian Hughes, as we say, we saw him spin off, he's now in 13th place. Well, 117.6 for Shears, 118.4 for Cherry. Down the inside of Jaden Cadigan there is Blake Temperley. He's had a tough day so far, but that's a good move from Temperley. 118.4 for Hirani, 195 for Wooden. So yeah, the top four are the four fastest drivers out there on circuit at the moment. It's good news for them. They'll continue to pull away.
Yeah, Marcus Neris, I think, might have had a bit of a spin or some issue last lap because he dropped down a fair way. As Jaden Cadigan's trying to get back onto terms with Blake Temperley. Good little battle this over 6th place, but it's a difficult one, Andrew, because when you're daydreaming about racing a car, you don't generally think of these kind of fights because they feel really clumsy. It's like it is difficult to make these karts work around. Always slick tyres, come rain or shine, in Club 100. Bear in mind, so they're having to really work the steering to get that turn in, and then as soon as they do, they're having to counter steer for the oversteer, as is nicely demonstrated. Thank you, Blake. That was well timed with the demonstration there of counter steering against that. And you'll see again Jaden Cadigan there having to hack away at the steering basically to get the turn in.
Lap time's coming back down now. Bradley Shears did a 1:15.9. Now this is a real tester for the driver's skills. Who can find the pace quickest? We saw this from Reece Pope this morning in one of the earlier lightweight heats where the track was on the turn. He was very good at being able to find an extra second or two on each lap as he got up to speed with the track quicker. Was a bit braver perhaps. Blake Temperley confirmed as past Jaden Cadigan. Tom Stalker's having a good race here. He is on the screen. Kart's number 124.
Currently in the worst position in some respects, though, because he's at the moment set to be the the first of the non-qualifiers for the B, or first of the non-promotees, one should say, for the B final.
He's pulling away from Temperley, Cadigan, Jones behind. The gap that he needs to close in is 3.1 seconds to Benjamin Wooden with 6 minutes to go. So that's a good amount of time. Half a second a minute. And he'll close that up. Shears continues to lead. New fastest lap of the race has come in from Andrew Cherry, 1 minute 12.367. Benjamin Wooden is starting to close in on Hirani now. There's some good pace from Tom Stalker. Yep, this is not over yet for Tom Stalker, because if he can continue that pace, or that differential of pace in relation to Vinod Hirani, there's going to be a chance here for Stalker to move through to the B.
Yep, absolutely. The chase very much is on here in the darkness at Bayford Meadows, where we've been treated to a whole host of different conditions.
It's a visor warning for Brad Jones. That will be that his visor is a little bit too open for race control's liking. It's like Lewis Hamilton's DRS. Except we haven't tried to push a go-no-go gauge through that. That's just a subjective assessment. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that.
I don't think the drivers would thank us for shoving a go-no gauge thing through their helmets.
There is Vinod Hirani, now with the attention of Benjamin Wooden. Now, Benjamin does have a bit more pace than Hirani at this stage. And the lap times are dramatically coming down now. We've gone from a 1:14 last time around to a 1:05 this time for Bradley Shears. And Tom Stalker's closing in even more. That's another good lap from Tom Stalker. 1:07.9 as Wooden's down the inside of Hirani. I feel he's got to make this move quickly to consolidate his place in the B final. He does that nicely. So Benjamin Wooden is up to third, but there you can visually see it now. Tom Stalker is closing in at a fantastic rate on Vinod Hirani. He started this race brilliantly, was strong in the wetter conditions, but as it's starting to dry out now, it's Wooden and Stalker who are starting to overhaul him. He is fighting back now. Now this is the one thing that will be an advantage to Hirani now. He's now got a pacemaker in front of him. He can see that there's a kart in front of him, being able to corner a little bit quicker, brake a little bit later. He can try that out himself, and it's rewarding him now. So 3 minutes to go. Shears and Cherry, they've checked out, they're done. 14 seconds ahead of this trio. 2 of them will qualify for the B final, 1 of them will not. Stalker there in 5th place.
Yeah, last time around was the new PB for Hirani, 1 minute 6.055. Comparison though, Tom Stalker did a 103.5, 2.5 seconds quicker. Marcus Naris has got past Brad Jones for 8th place, and Paul Jameson, the super heavyweight, has gained a position. He's got past Christian Hoos for 12th. Hirani now having a go back at Wooten there, or at least having half a think about it. I think definitely having Wooten ahead of him now has helped Hirani here to get back on pace.
2 minutes left on the clock then, just over. This is where the battle is at for tickets to the B final. Gap for the lead of the race is closing down a fair amount as well. Andrew Cherry now within half a second of Bradley Shears. They want to make sure that they're negotiating over first place in a civil manner, so that neither of them denies the other the chance to get through to the B final.
It shows where there's a level of confidence and also tyre temperature that has been activated by the top two. They're 4 seconds a lap quicker than this trio here, as Hirani's looking up the inside for third place, but unfortunately that's means he's going to drop back away from Wooten there. Can Tom Stalker take advantage of this time? Starting to run out. Less than 90 seconds to go. The track continuing to get quicker. The top guys up, up to the pace of a 57 now, and now here comes the response from this trio. 59.4 for Wooten, 59.8 for Hirani, 59.9 for Stalker. It's going to be this lap plus one more.
Dupreez gets by Brad Jones, that's over 8th place. And Marcus Naris as well drops back behind Stephen Hullock and Paul Jameson on that last lap as well. So a few changes happening further back as these drivers start to go, grip, I remember that. And find it in different places around here. Start to improve their lap times again. This is the thing, and here's the thing, Andrew. Such is the gap between the lead battle and this battle we're watching now. It's 19 seconds. Leaders are already on the last lap at this point, as we wait for the third place battle to come round. Here it is. So, Benjamin Wooten, Vinod Hirani and Tom Stalker. All things being equal, 2 of those names are going to get up into the B final. But Stalker is all over the back of Hirani here, and he wants that last golden ticket to the B final. I suppose it's a silver ticket if it's the B final. We'll get onto those in the gold tickets in a bit. But Vinod Hirani is going to try and challenge for third, is he? He had to think about it, but thought better of it. These two have got to be so careful, have Wooten and Hirani, because Stalker's going to have a look. There he is, down the inside of the hairpin. Is he going to get good drive onto the back straight, such that he can try something? Bradley Shears takes the win, I should say, for the C final. Andrew Cherry in second. We've got to keep an eye on here, because round the outside is trying Stalker now. He's trying to find any which way to get up into this B final. Wooten has just about got a kart length over Hirani here as they go through the fast right-hander. They're going to come into the chicane. It's going to be Wooten, but it's going to be a drag to the line. It's going to be a real drag to the line. It still goes the way of Hirani by 92 thousandths of a second ahead of Tom Stalker. Oh, that's bitter. That's bitter for Tom Sawyer. There's a spinner in the chicane, was that. So it's Jaden Cadigan in 6th, 7th for Blake Templey, Leon Dupreez in 8th, 9th for Brad Jones, then it's Stephen Hullock, Paul Jameson, Marcus Naris, Christian Hoos and David Wilson. My apologies to Bradley Shears and Andrew Cherry for us not covering them across the line, but that was such a close battle for the final promotion spots.
The final two promotion
spots. But it is Bradley Shears who wins ahead of Andrew Cherry. Benjamin Wooten and Vinod Hirani, provisionally we say, are your promotees up into the B final, and it is that which is coming up for you next here on your Alpha live stream at Bayford Meadows. Let's look at the grid then for your B final. It is going to be Kevin Coombs who takes this one from pole. We believe. I've got a slight difference between my graphics here in the box and what we've got here. by 1 position, so bear with us. But Kevin Coombs, we're going to say provisionally on pole. Jason Bear alongside. That's it. That's the grid. Then it'll be Anthony Ridd and Paul Williams. We've got Jordan Salter and Kieran Chigsey, Richard Lavender and Luke Phillips, Lawrence Cheer and Daniel Hollinshead to round out your... There we go. There we go. Lee Henderson, that's the one we were missing. Lee Henderson on pole. And that's critical. The reason we all paused is because that's big.
That's very big.
That's huge. So Lee Henderson on pole, Kevin Coombs alongside, Jason Bear and Anthony Ridd on row 2, Paul Williams and Jordan Salter on 3. Row 4 will be Kieran Chigsey and Richard Lavender, Luke Phillips and Lawrence Cheer round out your top 10. Daniel Hollinshead and Luke Pollan are on row 6. Then it's going to be Bradley Porter and Simon Kavanagh, Andrew Hicks and Richard Newton, followed by Samuel Bensley and Ben Bennyworth. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be Max Jameson and Matthew Batter, Matt Griffiths and Joel Arguelles, and joining them on the B final grid are promotees from the Sprint C final. It's going to be Bradley Shears and Andrew Cherry, and Benjamin Wotton and Vinod Hirani now confirmed as your promotees. And the significance there being, there he is, Lee Henderson. He's got to get through into the A final. He's got to finish in the top 2 if he wants to be in that A final, is the significance.
So the reason why this is significant, folks, is what we've done on the Club 100 edition of the Spreadsheet of Doom is put the grid positions of both Lee Henderson and Bill Taylor into the spreadsheet to say, if it was the most boring A final of all time, what would be the difference? Now, at the time that we had the grid, it had Lee Henderson qualified as 24th of the 24 automatic qualifiers through to the A. So we put 24 in, and we put 15th in for Bill Taylor. Spoiler, he's 15th on the grid for the A final. If they'd finished it, or if they were to finish the A final in those positions, which could still happen, Bill would take the championship by 1 single point. Now, what this has done with Lee Henderson, obviously there's been a recalc of the points, and Lee Henderson was the 25th best performing driver across the 12 heats that we saw in the earlier part of the afternoon. Effectively, that means like he's missing. He's 2 points short at the moment if he doesn't get through. So I'm in absolute agreement with you, Howard. He has got to finish in the top 2 here. He's got to make sure that he's on that A final grid. Because if he's not, yes, he'll be improving his score. Let's say like a 3rd or a 4th in this B final. But that's then an open goal for Bill Taylor to just go, I just need to hold position here. I just need to hold nice, solid. Don't do anything crazy. Don't be like trying to fly through to top 10 or risk it all and end up outside the top 20. There'll be a big chance for Bill Taylor to win this title. So this is a massive, massive race for Lee Henderson as he starts from pole position. Yeah,
absolutely. He'll be looking to retain that spot. It's going to be... I think the right phrase would be it's going to be an open door for Bill Taylor if he doesn't get through, is the way to think of this. Away we go then. Fairly uneven start across the grid, but it might be to Lee's advantage. Actually, Jason Bear's jostling for position. Anthony Ridd trying to come through as well. And that is Kevin Coombs all over the curbing there at turn number 1. But that is almost the dream start for Lee Henderson there as he looks to break away in the darkness here. Anthony Ridd currently in 2nd place, best of the rest. Kevin Coombs kept his foot in it in turn 1 and is now challenging for 2nd place as Kieran Chigsey tries down the inside of Jason Bear.
I think it was Paul Williams who was a bit slow off the line from the 3rd row of the grid. There's a penalty already for Jason Bear. What is that for? That's for an ABC bump and pass. So Jason Bear automatically cannot make his way through to the A final. 4 positions, the best he can hope for in this race is being classified 5th, which is clearly not the top 2.
Talking about golden tickets for the A final, there's 2 of them. Only the top 2 of this race go through. We're looking at the top 4 in our C final to get into the B. We're looking at our top 2. We'll get up into that A final.
I like the way that Lee Henderson tackled that start. He obviously made sure he's clean and didn't go before the green light, but he went straight away to take the initiative in this race, and he's been rewarded with a 1.6 second lead at the end of lap number 1.
Shout out to Andrew Cherry, finishing 2nd in the C final. 5 positions on that first lap into 20th place. He's clearly a man on the mission in the darkness. And of course, as benefit, he's just been out on track. So there is some knowledge of where the grip is at right now.
Bradley Shears is up to 17th as well. So that I think will be probably because the odd side of the grid came across at a slightly different canter to the even side of the grid. Up the inside there.
Chigsey.
Yeah, Kieran Chigsey on... I don't think that's on Jason Bear.
I think it's Kevin Coombs.
Yeah, it's Kevin Coombs.
Yes, indeed. Kevin Coombs hanging on for now in that third place.
Right, let's have a look at the pace of the drivers relative to one another. 57.7 for Lee Henderson. Crucially, he's quicker than third down.
And here's Chigsey on Coombs through turn number 1 and gets that move done. So Kieran Chigsey moves up into third place. Jason Byrne looking to have a bit of a snip, an opportunity there at Coombs, but can't make it stick. Jordan Salter at the moment sat behind Bear as well there in 6th place. But you're right, Andrew. Oh, and that's another look from Bear in the second hairpin. But it's going to actually not pay off and allow Salter to have a look down the inside as they come onto the back straight and makes that move 6. So Salter now up to 5th place. But yeah, the pace at the moment, the pace at the moment from Henderson it's a good opening salvo, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter too much if Anthony Ridd catches and overtakes. As long as there's a 2, they can then pull away from the rest of the field. And at the moment, that is exactly what they're doing.
Anthony Ridd is catching though, Andrew. I think you let him through.
Yeah, oh yes. No, if you're Lee Henderson in this situation, you don't fight with Anthony Ridd. If he's a second quicker than you, you let him through. Let him do the hard work of leading out and finding where the grip is. And in fact, that's exactly what he's done. That is quite heads up from Lee.
Heads up driving, as you say, because he knows he needs to get through to this A final. Better to just let Ridd go and focus on your own pace. Try and stay with Ridd.
Yeah.
You know, if he's quick enough to have got onto the back of you, see if you can learn from how he's driving.
We've just seen Vinod Hirani do pretty much exactly the same for getting through from the C to the B. At the second he got overtaken by Wootton, he was able to increase his pace by a second or 2 because he had a marker there. He had someone setting a great example for him. But there is Kieran Chigsey.
Shout out for Dan Holdenshead at the moment. 7th place, highest place to your Class 3 drivers. I don't think we've seen have we seen a Class 3 on that A final grid? I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we have.
So this is for who can take the round 11 bragging rights in Class 3 as well. And at the moment, that's going the way of Holdenshead.
Bill Taylor has just become a very quiet because of Kieran Chigsey fan. Because Kieran Chigsey's to do Bill a big favour here by taking this second and last promotion spot into the A finals. Off there is Ben Bennyworth, who's had an awful day.
Yeah, it's been a torrid time of it today for Ben, unfortunately. Julie waits for the other drivers to pass him so he can turn his kart around safely.
There's some good pace from Chigsey, this. Yeah. Fastest driver out there, 55.490. There's an ABC takeout penalty for Luke Pullen.
I'd assume that's related. He was racing with Ben Bennyworth, so one would have thought those are connected. Richard Lavender's just got past Simon Kavanagh as well. That's for 11th place. And yeah, there is a good battle over the Class 3 standings out there because... Oh, sorry, mate.
Just to be clear, it is not over if Lee Henderson doesn't make this A final. Bill Taylor will still have to go out there, race his race, and get a sufficient position to overhaul the points tally of Lee Henderson.
True. Nevertheless, it's really, really touch and go. I mean, you know, Lee Henderson could make it through to the A final and then immediately get, you know, crashed into by somebody else on the first lap. But it's leaving it in the lap of the gods if he doesn't get through. He knows he's just got to sit there and bite through all of his nails waiting to see what happens.
The situation will be thus, and in fact I'm going to come back to that because Kieran Chigsey is right on the rear axle now of Lee Henderson, looking for a way through. Won't do it here, it's too risky into the chicane, but there may be a run down into hairpin, into the first corner. Kieran Chigsey's going to go for it. Big move, huge move in the context of super heavy. Kieran Chigsey is up to second place and at the moment is going through to the A final, whereas Lee Henderson, super heavyweight points leader at the start of the day, is not.
Big moment potentially, as Andrew says. There's a contact warning that was issued for Kieran Chigsey early in the race, but that is not a penalty. Doesn't mean he needs to take care. Oh, and that is the 128 of Matt Griffiths, who's off there at the chicane. Very unusual place to be off.
Wonder if he's just lost it on the braking there. So, situation is now thus. Lee Henderson sitting in third is still improving his points score, by the way, with this. Would finish his season on 1,185 points.
We should say it's a testament to how good a day Bill Taylor has had that this is the situation. Bill Taylor has got himself into that A final, and that is what has made this such a high-pressure situation for Henderson. This is interesting as well, though. Chigsey now lining up Anthony Ridd for a potential move for the
Yep.
lead.
Ridd has not galloped away as perhaps we would have expected earlier in this race, and this is potentially an opportunity for Lee Henderson. These two come together. He's in the perfect spot to take the spoils. 20th place, just to put that one in there. 20th place is what Bill Taylor would need in the A final to win the super heavyweight title if the race result here in the B final was to remain as you see on your screen now. Ridd from Chigsey Henderson.
Chigsey, who we're watching, is in quite a close battle, as I recall, with Richard Newton in the super heavyweights as well. Newton just up to 11th place ahead of Richard Lavender. And at the moment, Chigsey is having quite a strong round, it has to be said, as he's challenging Anthony Ridd through the chicane, and Ridd's going, "Oi, not through the chicane, mate, come on, be reasonable here."
Contact warning for Richard Newton. Fastest driver out there at the moment is Jason Bear, but remember, he has a big penalty coming in the way of a bump and pass. As Chigsey looking for a way through. They're not working together here,
No,
Howard. They're not doing the strategy that I was saying to one of our drivers from the C final earlier. They're encouraging Lee Henderson back into this battle for the spots in the A final.
Yep, absolutely. There is not the collaboration from the top two at the moment that you would need, and it's put Chigsey back into attack range for Lee Henderson, and Chigsey tried to tuck underneath into turn 8, and there goes Henderson. Big move into turn number 9. Lee Henderson back up into second place. That could be huge in terms of the super heavyweights once again.
Lee Henderson is not giving this one up. He does not want his season to end in this B final, and he's encouraging the other drivers now, because look, here comes Kevin Coombs into the battle. Jordan Salter is here as well. This is a fascinating B final, not just in the context of this round of Club 100 Heavyweight Sprints, but for the super heavyweight title. Those with the green number boards, those are the runners in it. But remember, they score the points relative to their overall position. Lee Henderson is now back in second place. The top two go through to the A final. Then who knows what will happen beyond then. But 3 minutes to go. It is all on the line here.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff in the darkness here at Bayford Meadows. We've got good battles going on in Class 3, by the way. Dan Hollinshead in 7th place. Luke Phillips, our Class 3 champion for this year, in 8th place. Battling, well, trying to get onto the back, actually. It's quite a gap that he's got to close up, some 3 seconds, but he is currently a little bit quicker.
Chigsey back down the inside, retakes second place. The trouble for Henderson, he just doesn't seem to have the pace to close into Anthony Ridd.
And it's harder for him this time, Andrew, because he's got more friends along for the party. If Kevin Coombs or Jordan Salter or Jason Bear gets a sniff of this, they're going to be straightening. There is Kevin Coombs having a look at Henderson into hairpin number 1. Henderson shuts the door here. He's got to keep his eyes forward, but he can't throw this away. Salter down the inside of Coombs. That will give a bit of breathing space to Henderson as they sort themselves out behind. They're still sorting themselves out behind. Jason Bear is looking for a way up the inside, and he's found it up the inside of Kevin Coombs. It's now Salter, Bear and Coombs, or is it Coombs actually, because now Daniel Hollinshead is trying to get involved as well. But it's still Chigsey in second place, and he's beginning to pull away a little bit here, Andrew.
If this race finishes like this and Lee Henderson does end up being champion, I think he owes Jordan Salter a beverage of his choice, because he's just opened the gap there. But here comes Salter back once again. Maybe that offer will be taken straight back. 90 seconds to go. The hopes of Lee Henderson getting through into the top two are dwindling now. It's all just about keeping as many points on his card as he can. Remember, 1 position equals 1 point, and we really are talking 1 point here and there. I'll remind you again, yesterday we saw a Sprint 60 heavyweight title decided by countback, as Brewer and Burrell Smith were equal on points after 11 rounds.
Salter all over the back of Henderson now, Andrew. This is really tense stuff here for the man who came into today as the points leader in super heavyweights. This is nip and tuck here. Kieran Chigsey is closing in on Anthony Ridd. Is he going to attempt another attack on the lead in the final lap here? It'll all be for nothing if they force each other wide or bring a penalty upon one of them. Here we go then, on to the last lap. Anthony Ridd, your leader. There's a track limit warning for Lee Henderson in 3rd, but he's got to try everything to try and keep as many people behind him as possible. And if there is any way he can get up into the top 2 here, he's got to take it. But it doesn't look to me like he's going to be gifted a penalty, because Ridd has been able to pull out a gap on Chigsey again here, so they're not going to start battling in this one.
They are closing back in, but I think they're going to be a lap or two short. It was a PB from Henderson last time around, a 55.5. There's another bit of help there. That's Jason Bear getting involved and breaking it up behind. Henderson can run away now. He should have third sewn up as it's very, very tight.
Head coming in on the inside as well. It almost went 3 wide into turn 8, but Salter's somehow been able to hold on to it. So that gives Lee Henderson a clear run to the finish, but it's not going to be the position he wants. Coming up to the chicane now. I don't think Chigsey's close enough to Anthony Ridd, though he is closing. Anthony Ridd is going to win the B final and book a place in the A final. Kieran Chigsey finishes second, but Lee Henderson, by 1 position, misses out on the A final, and that means he has to watch Bill Taylor try and take the championship from him at the last from the sidelines.
By our calculations, and this is very unofficial, we should stress that, Lee Henderson finishes the 2021 Club 100 season on 1,185 points. If Bill Taylor finishes 20th in the final, he will finish on 1,186.
Well done to Daniel Hollinshead, takes home the bragging rights for Class 3 for round number 11, finishing 6th overall. Luke Phillips in 2nd as well, and your Class 3 podium rounded out by Lawrence Cheer. I think that rounds off a very impressive showing from our Class 3 drivers in both heavyweights and lightweights this weekend. It's been very impressive to see them, and bids well for future seasons. But next here at Bayford Meadows, we're going to take a break as we work out the finalised grids for the A final. But that is the last race of the weekend coming for you here next on your Alpha Live stream at Bayford Meadows.
Bayford Meadows, and we're getting ready for the final race, not just of today, but of this 2021 Sprints Championship for Club 100. Here is your grid for the A final. Richard Dickey Allen starts on pole position ahead of the champion in this championship for 2021, Joe Holmes. Anwar Barrell-Smith is already confirmed as your runner-up, starts on row 2 alongside Chris Alcock. Matt Wildman is going for 3rd in the championship, starts there on the 3rd row alongside a very impressive Mikey Nichols. Adam Wright wants to keep that number 3 plate for next year. He starts on the 4th row of the grid, alongside him is Francesco Volpe. Alex Pritchard starts on the 5th row of the grid, joined by Lewis Ridd. Dave Peathers has raced well today. Steve Bosley has been on the high IQ strat, starts from row 6. Tim Williams and Harry Melvin are on row 7. Bill Taylor, going for Super Heavyweight Glory, starts on row 8, joined by Tim Hill. Jonathan Elliott and Miguel Hall are on row 9. Steve Lindley has raced great this weekend, is through onto the 10th row of the grid alongside Richard Masterson. Mike Bodner and Tom Fuller on row 11. David Jarvis and Darrell Lowe are on row 12. Howard's going to confirm for me our 2 qualifiers from the B final. They are indeed Anthony Ridd and Kieran Chigsey. Well, there are 2 drivers who will just be going out and having a bit of fun here. Joe Holmes in the foreground, already your champion. Anwar Barrell-Smith already confirmed 2nd in the championship standings.
He's all right, that Anwar. I think he should take part in more formats offered by Club 100.
Never before has a man done, I'm genuinely saying this is not a joke, never before has a man done more Club 100 racing in one weekend.
No, absolutely.
He should have entered the lightweight sprint 60 as well. He's just not trying hard enough. Let's talk about the driver in the bottom left, though. Bill Taylor starts this race 15th, which is a good spot. If he holds that position, he will be Super Heavyweight Champion. But as we've just said to JV, it's a tense place to start a middle of a grid in any race like this. But, you know, he's on the inside, which is good. If you were to ask me, where would I want to start on the 19th, 20th or 21st yesterday in the endurance, I would have said, well, anything but 20th. He's on that inside, but in the middle of the pack, it's tight, it's twisty into that first sector. He could be 10th after turn 4, he could be 25th. The key bit is he's got to be 20th or higher when the checkered flag comes out. Then he'll be champion for super heavyweights. If he's 21st or 22nd, well, if he's 22nd or further back, it'll be Lee Henderson's title. If he's 21st, oh no, I'm going to have to get the mega abacus out to work out the tiebreaker.
It's good rehearsal for next weekend's BUKC qualifiers, mate. I expect either you or the laptop to start smoking or steaming at some point. And if you're wondering, folks, I wonder if the Club 100 staff, you know, it's a long season, I wonder if they get into the championship. We've literally just had JV in the box.
What do they need to do?
What needs to happen? Oh, it's close, isn't it? You know, passionate racers through and through behind the scenes here at Club 100, and it gives us a good opportunity to say a big thank you to them, actually, for the amount of effort that goes into running this stuff. You know, we'll wrap up the show here, and then they'll still be packing up the karts. They'll go back to base, which is mercifully quite close here at Bayford Meadows, and they'll get a full service done on them for when they're next in action. But sorry, go on, mate. You were going to make a point.
We've not even talked about C2 yet.
We haven't,
overall.
No.
So our pole sitter, Richard Allen, the other we mentioned with Tim Hill earlier, winning the Clubman Endurance Championship as a team. This is the other half of it. Richard Allen, who is. I mean, the last time we had a in-person awards dinner, he was Driver of the Year for 2019.
Yeah.
I thought that was an impeccable effort from Dickie that year. He's got even better this year, and particularly, again, you know, we talked about it with Daz in the lightweights. Drivers who have gone, I don't know whether it's the cameras being on them, they've just stepped it up again. And I feel for the heavyweights, Dickie is that driver, fully deserving pole position here. And if he can stay there, if he can stay, basically, he needs to beat Alex Pritchard. If he can stay ahead of Alex Pritchard, he'll be C2 champion for 2021.
Yes. Apologies, do we know the points gap coming in?
The points gap
if
is
Pritchard
the 6 points. It's the 6 points.
Okay.
But we'll keep monitoring it. Alex Pritchard himself has had a good day. Starts on the 5th row of the grid, 9th on the grid, again on the inside.
Yep.
That's where you want to be here at Bayford Meadows.
We are about to go into the final race of the season. I always feel a little bit moved to do something on a borderline award speech here, even though I'm not awarded anything. But we've said a big thank you to the Club 100 staff who race prepare all of these karts and make this championship possible. Obviously, it's their championship. Club100.co.uk if you're interested in getting involved in 2022. It's a lot of thanks as well to the marshals here at the circuit, without whom we couldn't go racing. As ever, we're indebted to them for making that possible, and all of the staff here at Bayford Meadows as well. Always a nice circuit to come to. I'm going to go round as well. I was going to say, see, this is where it gets to an award speech, but do hope you've been enjoying the Alpha Live coverage. Do please like, share, subscribe, follow what they're doing. Show some love for the Alpha Live crew. Our thanks from Double Dash Motorsport Media to them, to Fraser, who's been doing the direction. And it's slightly awkward to do the thank you, actually, because he's sat right next to me on this occasion. It's a little less awkward when they're in a different room. But Darren, who's sat behind us and has been keeping the show on the road as well, and to Jack, to Johnny, and to Will, our camera crew, who've been out there, even now in the darkness, ready to show you all of the action. And we anticipate quite a bit of action. This is a very slow roll-up. They want to get it started this lap. This is going to... Where we are going round again.
There was
there's
just a little bit of confusion between Francesco Volpe and Steve Bosley as to where they should be.
In that case, I'm going to carry on. We've been Double Dash Motorsport Media on the comms side of things. If you like what you have heard, that's an ironic sentence. If you like what you've heard, then head on over to our YouTube channel, like, share and subscribe there. We've got eSports action in the Club 100 ranks coming up over the next week. And we're also on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we're on
Double
Twitter.
Dash MM on everything.
That is the thing. If ever you can't remember that, then double-mm.com. I've been Howard Mitchell, he's been Andrew Mather. Mate, it's been a pleasure to be covering Championship with you again. We'll be back in action ABkC next weekend. Thank you also to John Ratcliffe, who we've had at some points in this season, and for Kieran McGinley, who stood in when I had to drop out at the last minute earlier on as well. It's been a pleasure for all concerned. Let's do some racing. Richard Allen leads them away for the A final for round 11. It's going to be a strong start from a second place on the grid for Joe Holmes. To watch and learn people start in second as someone's going out very wide onto the curb there, but through the darkness they come. Through turn number 2, it's clean enough. Everybody's facing the right way so far. It is Richard Allen though who leads. Adam Wright down the inside there of the 64 of Mikey Nichols.
Sky blue and white helmet, yellow shoulders, that's Bill Taylor. If you're trying to make him out in the gloom, I'd seen he'd survived and got through at least turn 3. He started from 15th on the grid. Where is he? Still there. He's still there, just pulling back into line, and he's around in that position he needs to be in the teens.
It's been an okay start for Alex Pritchard as well, there on the tail of Mikey Nichols, but it's not enough at the moment. But at least it hasn't been a disaster or a calamity. But the man he's got to beat is the leader at the end of lap number 1. Richard Allen leads. Joe Holmes, though, in his wheel tracks. And as Andrew was saying, the two gentlemen behind him don't have anything to lose. They're just here for funsies. They've wrapped up their championship scores. First and second in the championships for the number 1 and the number 2. Repeat performance of 2020. But Richard Allen has something to win here. Joe Holmes goes down the inside of him nonetheless at hairpin number 1. And he's going to hang Allen out to dry here. Amar Brule-Smith, though, not able to capitalise, although he did give it a good try.
Spreadsheets chucking out numbers, Howard. Matt Warman has finished lap 1 in 6th place. Adam Wright in 4th place. At the moment, that means that Warman is taking 3rd place in the championship by 3 points. The other way of putting that, if Wright and Warman were to swap positions, my goodness me, Adam, that was a big save. It would be changed. And look, they're together now. They're together. Chris Alcock's been dropped.
Yep.
So Warman is there in 5th place. Adam Wright must not let Matt Warman through if he wants to keep hold of his number 3 plate.
Yeah, and it's fair to say, you know, if Adam, and that's is there drizzle there in the light that we could see?
Yeah, there is still a little bit of drizzle out there. Yeah.
This is side by side between the two drivers going for 3rd in the championship, and Warman is through at turn number 8, but Adam Wright's going to come back. Not turn number 8, excuse me. That's through the hairpins, and that's back onto the back straight that Adam Wright has taken it. Coming through turn number 7, he's holding on by his fingertips at the moment, is Adam Wright, onto the opportunity. I think Warman's gone down the inside of him again at turn number 8 there, and he has got through. Matt Warman has got through on Adam Wright, and that doesn't mean that the positions change. Adam Wright would have to get by Matt Warman and then some to take it, but now he's got to get past Warman to do it. And Warman will know this and go, so long as I finish ahead of Adam Wright, I'm good. I'm good for my 3rd place in the championship, thank you very much.
Bill Taylor is doing more than enough at the moment. He's actually gone forward from where he started on the grid. He's up to 13th place. That would be good for 1,193 points versus Lee Henderson's 1,185, which is set in stone now.
Alex Pritchard still chasing Mikey Nichols here through the darkness, as behind them that is the 31 of Jonathan Elliott, putting a tidy little move there on Steve Bosley for 9th. Good job there by Jonathan Elliott. There is the 144 of Bill Taylor, just went through your shot. Currently running in 13th place. He's trying to beat the number 13 driver of Lee Henderson to this championship, and right now he's doing enough.
When we said making it into the A final was crucial, this is why. Lee Henderson in that super heavyweights competition, if you're just joining us, led the points at the start of the day, but could only finish 3rd in the B final. The first, that's off. That's Volpe. And that was well avoided.
He was battling with Steve Bosley at the end of that last lap. Steve Bosley, Volpe and Williams were all in a tight pack, I noted, coming out of the chicane. And that's clearly come to, so these two used to have a Francesco between them.
Yes.
And that was a heart in the mouth moment there for everyone coming through turn 1, but not least this man here, Bill Taylor. But he's navigated it okay. We're all right.
Yeah.
If you're a Bill Taylor fan, things are okay.
That will have been a heart-in-the-mouth moment, but it's another position, it's another point, it's another step closer to becoming the 2021 Club 100 Super Heavyweight Sprints champion for Bill Taylor. Remember, he basically used up all of his dropped scores earlier in the season, because this is the 8th meeting of 11 that he's been able to attend. There's a restart off the grass penalty for Anthony Ridd. That'll be, well, that really will be a black flag that may even be brought in, because that's one of the biggest rules that you can break in Club 100. But Bill Taylor now up to 12th place. He's got Tim Williams ahead of him, who's been supreme today. He's fighting with Steve Bodsley for a spot in the top 10. Meanwhile, back at the front, here's Joe Holmes and Richard Allen. Richard Allen is doing what he needs to do at the moment to become the Class 2, the C2 champion, denoted by the blue number boards. Alex Pritchard, it's a valiant effort. He's currently in 8th place. He'll be securing 6th place overall in the series. Oh, wow. Adds up the inside, goes Dickie Allen, takes the lead.
Where did that come from? How did he get that good a drive off of turn 10? That was incredible stuff there from Dickie Allen. And he's through on Joe Holmes. Okay, let's just remember it is Joe Holmes in that car. Wow, that's an amazing move there for Dickie Allen. I don't know if Joe Holmes just caught the grass or something. He just seemed to not have the drive off the corner. But here we go then. Over halfway there, and Richard Allen is wide in that corner, and Joe Holmes is going to go back through. Up the inside of hairpin number 2. Anwar Burrell Smith in 3rd place. And Matt Wildman now has pulled away from Adam Wright, you can see there.
The good piece of news, I feel, for Bill Taylor at the moment. Yes, he's got Mike Bodner behind him, tucked up 4/10 behind. There's a good gap. There's a nice gap behind Bodner that if Bodner was to overtake, he could just slip into and tuck onto the slipstream of the 44 kart.
It's a bit of a long shot.
That's it.
Whoa,
that is it.
Yeah.
Alex Pritchard has had a bump and pass penalty, and I think we're calling that one.
Yeah, that's on Mikey Nichols that he'll have done that offence. But yeah, that is huge, isn't it? That's pretty much curtains, unless it's not over till it's over, but something rather extraordinary now has to happen to Richard Allen.
I'm going to call that as it, because even if Pritchard was to win this race,
sorry, very wide line there from Richard Allen. I just thought something had gone wrong for him. Sorry, mate. Yeah, why is he?
If Pritchard was to win this race, take the +4, finish 5th overall, he would not overhaul the point score that Richard Allen would get.
Yeah,
that is it. Richard Allen is your 2021 C2 champion in the heavyweight sprints.
Unless if he falls off.
Even if he falls off.
Okay.
Even if he falls off, even if he pulled into the pits now and went, I'm done,
yep.
I've had enough racing for this weekend,
yep.
He'd finish on 14:43,
yep.
and he would beat Alex Pritchard on countback.
Got you. Wow. And Richard Allen is, funnily enough, I think frustrated because he's lost touch with Joe Holmes.
Maybe he could hear us. I didn't want to be champion.
I mean, assuming he's frustrated because he's now missing out on winning the round, as Anwar Burrell Smith goes down the inside of him now, but he's going to skirt wide in that attempt, and Dickie Allen will go straight back through again. Good little battle this, but I think he's there just going, let Joe Holmes get on up the road again. It's going to go the way of Joe. Bill Taylor still running in 13th place as Lewis Ridd is getting by on Dave Pethers. That's for 16th place, and Jonathan Elliott has got by on Mikey Nichols. I feel like that's a race-long battle, that one, and he's up to 8th at the moment. But, wow, yeah. I understand what you're saying now, mate. Richard Allen is looking set. I mean, everything we say here is provisional, but it's looking pretty odds on. We'd have to be quite fundamentally wrong with the maths for this one.
What's happened here? Miguel Hall's come out of nowhere. Yeah, it's all changed here. That's Bosley has fallen back a bit. Taylor has got back past Bodner.
Oh, now he hasn't, though, because Bodner's gone down the inside of turn number 1.
That's a very wise piece of driving. Just open the door, let him go through on the inside.
Except he's battling with Miguel Hall there into turn 3, is Bill Taylor. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. He didn't make it stick, and he's now got Lewis Ridd behind him.
Just needs to stay calm here. Just keep it trucking. He's got a good number of positions between himself, where he is at the moment, and the position that he needs at the moment. It's 20th position, which at the moment is Dave Pethers, who's 16.4 seconds off the lead, and he's got, so he's got 6 seconds. 6 seconds advantage. The last thing he needs right now is falling off the road.
Or rain.
Or rain.
Because the two usually go together, let's not lie. But yeah, Mike Bodner there, up into 11th place. Miguel Hall, Bill Taylor, Lewis Ridd, that little group of karts at the moment.
This is very qualifiers like. This is how it normally gets. It's down the inside. Looks Ridd there. Let him go. Let him go, Bill. Oh, Bill's off the road there. And this is getting tight and technical now. As I say, this is getting very ABkC qualifiers like, where we do often get to the end of the day and we talk about a team needing something in the teens to achieve what they want to achieve. And Bill Taylor holds on at the moment in 13th place, but look at all those drivers queuing up behind. You've got Steve Lindley in there, Francesco Volpe fighting back through, Tim Hill's in there as well. Lewis Ridd in the black and orange is trying to find his way through. All of these drivers don't care about Bill Taylor's Super Heavyweights title. They want to have a strong finish to the end of the year.
Lindley's gone through on Lewis Ridd though, so it's a different challenger at least who comes up onto the back of Bill Taylor now in the darkness. Look at the way that their stats are behind. If Bill Taylor falls down to the back of this, if Bill Taylor falls down to the back of this pack of karts behind him, he will lose out on that Super Heavyweights title. Darrell Lowe going side by side with Tim Hill in the darkness, and that's Lewis Ridd and Steve Lindley again side by side. It's given a bit of a lifeline to Bill Taylor for now, because they're battling amongst themselves behind.
There are so many quick drivers queuing up behind, but this is the thing now. Steve Lindley, the defensive driving, is helping Bill Taylor now because it's giving him a gap ahead of Lewis Ridd and Tim Hill and Darrell Lowe and Francesco Volpe. Kieran Chixie's had a great race, is on the back of this pack as well, having been the guy to effectively put Bill Taylor in this championship winning position.
We're on the last lap of the Club 100 Sprints Championship. Joe Holmes is leading this one by 2.6 seconds. Richard Allen is in second place and looking set to take the Class 2 Championship here. Class 1's already decided. That is going the way of Joe Holmes. He's looking to finish it in style. Anwar Barul Smith and Matt Warman battle in the darkness, but at the moment Warman's looking set for third in the championship. Anwar's already settled for second. But Bill Taylor has got to hang on to his position here. He wants to take the Super Heavyweights.
Well, what about this driver? We've not really talked about him much today, but he's been supreme once again. 2 weeks ago, it was the 5-time champion being crowned. But once again, here at Bayford Meadows, he did it a few months ago in round number 7. Joe Holmes takes heavyweight sprints at Bayford Meadows. Richard Allen finishes second and is C2 champion. Barul Smith third, Matt Warman fourth, but we wait now. Where is Bill Taylor? Where is kart number 144 in the final race of the year? There he is, round the final corner. Bill Taylor is your Super Heavyweight champion for 2021. He did it in the last race. He had to get it in the top 20, which was easier said than done. He's more than done it, Howard. It's P13.
Wow, we have come into today, but both of the two championships yet to be decided coming into today have swapped round today. That's why we swap. I'm not entirely sure if Bill's aware. If I'm honest, I don't want to take away from him. He's cool as a cucumber if he does.
I had a brief chat with him before the C final where I said, hello, I'm Bill. What do I need to do? It's like, just stay where you are and you'll win it by at least 1 point. That was before we knew that Lee Henderson was in the B final.
True.
But he's gone forward. What a supreme drive that was, particularly with about 3 laps to go where the pressure was on and the Wolves were getting closer, but he held his nerve. And that's a well-deserved Super Heavyweight Championship. He's been supreme at every single round that we've had him here. And there's a great bit of sportsmanship, shaking hands with Lee Henderson there. 2 fantastic drivers who I'm sure will be back for future years. There'll be disappointment for Lee, but he can be proud of his efforts. Another driver who has taken a huge step forward from 2020.
There's been so many, Andrew. There's been so many drivers who this season I think have really, really taken a huge step forward, and I don't know how 2022 is going to. They can't all win.
There's a way in.
Crikey.
It's not over yet.
There is a
way in.
There is a way in. Oh, goodness me! But
There's Alex
Yeah,
Pritchard.
there is Alex.
He's had a supreme year as well.
He has.
Finishes this race 9th.
He can hold his head up high, even though, you know, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of disappointment that, as we understand it, based off of our maths, he has fallen at the last with regards to taking that Class 2 championship.
But solidly in the top 10 overall.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is a driver that, and I know I said this last year, Alex, you really need to be a C1 next year and go for C1. Because every single year I see Alex Pritchard race, he gets better and better and better.
I was wondering, how does it... Because the top 5 traditionally in a championship get trophies.
Yep.
They're finishing within the top 2 of Class 2, but within the top 5 of overall.
Well,
I don't know how many shiny pots they get for that, but it's a lot. And it's impressive, so well done to him.
Let's just run down the final order as they came across the line for that A final. This is pre-penalties, just to reiterate. Joe Holmes, your winner of round 11 of the Club 100 Heavyweight Sprint Championship for 2021. For the record, he finishes on a tally of 1,510 points. Richard Allen's second here today. Third for Anwar Barul-Smith. So it was 17 points in the end for Holmes over Barul-Smith. Matt Wildman in 4th, finishes 3rd in the championship. Adam Wright 5th today. Still in the top 5 though, he'll have the plate number 4 next year. Chris Alcock has been a great addition to this heavyweights division in the last few rounds. He finishes today in 6th. Jonathan Elliott finishes 7th overall, 2nd in C2. Mikey Nichols, who I think has found his place here in heavyweights. Yeah. 3rd in C2, 8th overall. Great stuff from Mikey today. Alex Pritchard, as we say, 9th, but he does have a penalty. 10th for Steve Bosley, who's been fantastic today. All of these guys have been, the heavyweights in particular, I think the whole, across this season, have been fantastic. Bosley 10th, Mike Bodner in 11th, 12th for Miguel Hall, 13th for Bill Taylor, as we say. By our calculations, that makes him the 2021 Club 100 Super Heavyweight Sprints champion. 14th for Steve Lindley. That honestly has been one of the strongest sprints rounds I've seen from Steve. Another driver improving all the time. 15th for Tim Hill. A courageous season for Tim, who's had, you know, injury issues throughout the year, and I do hope we see him back again for 2022. One of the longest serving, if not the longest serving Club 100 driver out there. 16th for Darrell Lowe, 17th for Lewis Ridd, 18th Francesco Volpe, who did well to recover from his spin, 19th for Tim Williams, Tom Fuller in 20th, Kieran Chigsey from the B final finishes 21st, David Jarvis, Harry Melvin, Dave Pethers, Richard Masterson, Anthony Ridd. All of those drivers today. I think that's genuinely, not just because it's the last one of the season and there was some drama in terms of championship, that I think was one of the top A finals across the board that we've seen all season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And yeah, there's a bit of tension right now because everyone's getting weighed.
Yes.
So I'm actually waiting to see everything that Andrew just said. Might not be true, but no, a brilliant race. A brilliant race. I am actually looking. Yeah, we have got a confirmed result now. And actually, do you know what? I'm just gonna. Does that mean? It does. We've got a confirmed championship table as well here in the box.
Now I hold my breath, and hopefully I've got it all right. We have got it all right.
Hey.
Good stuff. Right, we're going to wrap things up there, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. If you haven't already and you wouldn't mind clicking the subscribe button here on the Alpha Live YouTube channel, that would be fantastic. If you've enjoyed the commentary, at @MM across your various social medias. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for your support as ever in what's been a tough year, a tiring year at times in the Club 100 paddock. And we're back next week as well.
We are.
This is the end for Club 100 Sprints for 2021, but we're back next weekend, 2 days of action at Wilton Mill for the start of the 2021-22 British Universities Karting Championship. My name's been Andrew Mather, the man alongside me. Any last words?
It's been an absolute pleasure, folks. Do join us for the ABkC next weekend. Otherwise, do all take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you in the new year.
He's been Howard Mitchell. Together we've been DDMM Motorsport Media. This has been an Alpha Live production for Club 100 Racing. Thank you very much. We will see you at Buckmore Park on the weekend of the 26th and the 27th of February for the start of the 2022 Club 100 calendar. Bye-bye.